Good morning, everyone. Hello, can you hear me?
Yes po, Doc.
Yes po, Doc. Good
Yes po,
morning
Doc
po.
Alvin.
Good. So we are already 11. You are already 11 in the Zoom class. Pero in my list, you are about 15 yata officially enrolled. And the reason why we only started this week because I was waiting for your enrollment to be officially inputted at DABSU. Mahirap kasi mag-umpisa ng klase nang hindi naman talaga officially enrolled yung ating mga classmates. No? But of course, I'd like to hear everyone. Narinig ko na si Mr. Oliver. Sir Glenn, are you there?
Yes po, sir. Good morning po.
Good morning, ayan. Si Sir Ernie.
Yes po, sir. Good morning po, Doc.
Okay, magkasama na ang mag-asawa. So, ang absent na lang ay 3. 12 na kayo nandito. Si Mr. Nuki.
Good morning po, Doc.
Alright.
Congratulations po.
Salamat. Sige. Of course, Mr. Algie.
Good morning, Doc Kumpare. Good morning to our classmates and congratulations po and welcome to DepEd.
Salamat. Of course, we have Miss Julian.
Good morning po everyone. Good morning po, Doc.
Good morning.
Congrats po pala, Doc.
Salamat po.
Welcome to DepEd po, Doc.
Salamat. Miss Ma'am Cecil. Unang discussion mamaya. Maganda pa naman ang topic natin. How will you solve that? How will you solve that? Yung audio mo. O sige, check mo ha. Because I need your voice later, all of you. We will be discussing, of course, one of the common problems in education kasi that's your subject today, no? And we also have Sir Lester. Sir Lester, are you there?
Morning po, Doc.
Okay.
Morning po.
Sige. Tawag dito? Naka-ano ka naman, ano? Naka-attend ka naman last semester, no? Ng klase natin.
Yes, sir. Yes, Doc.
Okay. And then we have Mr. Edwin, Sir Edwin Mangahas.
Good morning, Doc. Good morning, everyone. Wala. Good morning, Doc. Good morning, everyone. Wow.
Sorry, Sir Edwin, pwede ka ba namin makita sa camera, Sir Edwin?
Hindi lang po. Ayan po.
May manok, aso.
Opo, meron po. Good morning, Doc. Good morning, everyone.
Ay bago, no? Ngayon ka lang nag-enroll, first semester mo.
Yes, Doc.
Alright, see. Just tracing kung kayo ay old or new student, no? Si Sir Lester ay old last sem pa. Si Sir Ray Rudolph.
Po, sir. Good morning po.
Very good, alright. And then of course si Sir Oliver,
Good morning po.
new student, ano?
Yes po, Doc. Good morning po, Doc. And welcome po sa Hagonoy.
Ah,
Hello?
yeah,
Hello po.
opo, sir. Nagtuturo po
Hello
ako
po,
sa
good
IBA
morning po.
National High School.
Iba National High School. So hope to see you there pag umikot ako next week.
Yes, sir. Opo, opo. Thank you po.
All right. So we have how many? One, two. We have two new classmates this trimester. We have Sir Edwin and Sir Oliver. All right. Yung iba nating kasamahan. I'm looking for Sir Samuel. Miss Julian, is Mr. Samuel coming in?
Yes po, Doc. I already texted her po. Text na po sa kanya.
All right. So 4, 8, 12, 13, 14. O siya na lang ang missing. Kasi 15 lang naman. Okay. Good morning to everyone, and I hope everyone is doing well. Sana hindi kayo naapektuhan ng COVID, or you're not exposed to any COVID patients. Or hindi kayo tinitrace. Then nagkaroon kayo ng connection sa may COVID, no? And of course, despite this COVID pandemic, education must proceed, must go on, no? And there are many reasons and ways in which education can still be continued. But of course, despite our perseverance in continuing our educational services, especially our graduate education. Hi, Miss Maria Teresa, good morning.
Good morning po, Doc. Good morning po sa lahat. And congrats po.
Failed to call you, I'm sorry. Okay, yeah. So yan, si Ma'am Teresa naman is old student na natin yan. Yeah. Kabisado ko yung mga old sa sino yung mga new. So we are just waiting for Mr. Samuel. Anyways, we will start even without him. Papasok na naman siya. But as I was saying, all of us, I believe, belongs to the field of education, and we know that we are experiencing a lot of issues and problems in the delivery of quality education, both in the basic education and higher education. And when I say basic education, I believe that most of you here belongs to basic education. Si Sir Oliver nag-reveal na. Taga Hagonoy East District daw siya. At taga Iba, national ba o elementary?
National High School po, Doc.
Iba National High School, very good. Okay.
Opo.
Siguro kayong una kong imi-meet next week kasi kailangan ko nandun yung point person ng LRMDS na kailangan natin sa panahon ng pandemic, because what we are facing right now is the difficulty in the reproduction of our self-learning modules. No, there are districts in Bulacan that are facing difficulty in producing and reproduction of modules. In fact, there are also districts in Bulacan, rather I would say mayors in Bulacan, who announced cancellation of module distribution. That's why yesterday we had an emergency meeting with Dr. Mostoles regarding that matter. So we are experiencing several problems in delivering quality educational services to both basic ed and higher ed. And I think the only student who belongs to higher education here is Sir Junel, tama ba? Sir Junel, ikaw lang ang nasa higher ed. Sir Edwin.
Yes po, sir.
Okay.
Yes po, sir.
Sir Edwin, saan ka po pala connected? I forgot to ask you, sorry.
In North Sagaing National High School, sir.
Okay, so basic ed din. Alam mo si Ma'am Julian din, Ma'am Julian?
Yes po?
Nasa DepEd ka rin, ano?
Opo, sa Kalumpit National High School po.
Part-time ka lang sa higher ed, pero meron ka rin.
Yes po.
So yun. So anyway,
Opo, Doc.
we will be discussing a lot more about problems and issues that our basic education and higher education institutions are encountering in terms of the delivery of their what we call educational services later on. But for now, I'd like to inform you that you are enrolled in 3 subjects. The first one is problem and issues in education and national development. No? Ano yung pangalawa? Ano yung pangalawa niyong in-enroll?
Seminar in Management Controls of Education Institutions.
Seminar in management of
Management controls of
management.
educational institutions.
All right. And the third one is
Seminar, leading and managing educational system and institution.
all right. So actually, those 3 subjects have this common denominator, which is education. And whenever we discuss one subject, we cannot of course, because there are connections, there might be some how do you call this, overlapping discussion of the 3 subjects in terms of topic. So you might be wondering, yung mga tatlong subjects na yon ay minsan kino-connect ko na, no? Wait lang ha. Because when you say problems and issues in education, that is also somehow related to management controls of educational institutions. Because when you solve any problems in your own respective educational institution, you are also controlling when there are problems, no? And when you solve any problems, you are also leading and managing those educational institutions. So there are topics that are overlapping from the 3 subjects that you have enrolled. So expect that these 3 subjects will not be treated separately. Instead, we will try to interconnect these 3 subjects because these 3 subjects are interconnected with one another. Aside from that, we will not consume most of our time from the traditional method of teaching, which is discussion or lecture discussion. Our approach would be more of independent learning. When I say independent learning, we will be continuing our first project. If you remember, during the last trimester, that you started proposing a paper, and then I will ask you this time to implement the proposed paper that you presented last trimester. And for those who are new, like Mr. Edwin and Mr. Oliver, we would like to inform you that our EDD program is research-based, meaning to say that I am going to give you time to identify a topic that is very relevant nowadays, and not just identify a topic, but conceptualize a research paper to be approved by yours truly, and then after approval, you will be implementing the proposed topic. Last trimester, your classmates, your old classmates have presented their proposed paper, their proposal, and then I approved them, and I think this trimester they're ready for implementation. But of course, part of my role, not just to guide you, not just to facilitate this endeavor, this academic endeavor, but also provide you some inputs related to the subjects that you enrolled. Kaya lang, baka manibago kayo because the inputs that I will be sharing you are actual inputs or information coming from the research. Whenever I present a lecture discussion, you will be exposed to research informations. Kasi I do not want to present something that is based on opinion. Whenever I present something, I'd like to ensure that the informations are coming from research. Kasi nga, yun ang aking ina-advocate ngayon, ay maging research-based yung ating mga sinasabi. Because as I've mentioned before, when you speak of something that is not evidence-based, ang tawag doon ay chismis or gossip. And I do not want that to happen to our future doctors. kaya mga future doctors nagagamot ng sakit ng Department of Education or Commission on Higher Education. Whenever we make policy, whenever we make decisions, we have to ensure that we analyze first the situation. When I say analyze the situation, we need to make a lot of readings, because by reading literature, you will understand the true situation. By reading the literature, you will have a full grasp of the real problem, and then later on, if you already have a full grasp of the real problem, you will be in the best position to provide interventions accordingly. Take note that when we make action plan, when we develop strategic plan, or simply intervention plan, those plans must be based on research. Those plans must be based on the identified problems that you identify in your research. So without further ado, if you will allow me, I would like to give an input about the first subject that you enrolled for this semester, which is entitled Problems and Issues in Education and National Development. Okay lang po ba sa inyo na magle-lecture ako this morning? Pa-thumbs up nga po sa ating emoticons kung okay sa lahat na ako ay magbibigay ng lecture. Okay. Sige, so may nakita ko mga thumbs up. So I am hoping na hindi niyo ako tutulugan kasi baka nagsasawa na kayo sa boses ko. But I would like to provide you some inputs about the problems and issues in education and national development, which I believe you are also very familiar with. But I'd like this time that our knowledge about the problems and issues are based on research. So before ko po ginawa itong slides ko at presentation ko sa inyo, nagbasa muna ako ng mga literature, ng mga researches that are updated. Kasi kung babasahin ko yung mga 1990s or 1980s or 1800s, iba ang problem noon, iba yung problem ngayon 21st century. Agree or disagree? Okay, thumbs up is okay. All right. So just to give you an overview, one of the most recent public health emergencies of global concern is the recent COVID-19 pandemic, which started in China. Everybody knows that it started in China and almost infected every country in the whole world. Actually, nag-anniversary na tayo last March 15 or March 16. Akala ko after the first year, tapos na ang lahat. Hindi pa rin. To our surprise, after the first year, nag-surge pa. No? Yesterday, we recorded the highest number of cases, amounting to 7,100 cases of COVID in the Philippines. So, parang it's quite amazing na while we have already the vaccine, saka naman lumalaki. We thought na when vaccine arrived, it will be lessened kasi nga mas marami nang magiging protected. Pero ang nangyari ngayon, kung kailan nag-umpisa yung vaccination, saka nagkakaroon ng surge. So probably there's so many reasons why the surge of COVID cases in the Philippines is going on. And this disease is caused by a novel coronavirus, or they call this SARS-CoV-2, previously known as 2019 nCoV, and has received global attention from growing infections and on how to eradicate the disease and flatten the curve of infections. Even the World Health Organization has been very busy in communicating with the first world countries on how to eradicate and how to flatten the curve of infections. No? Kaya nga nag-uunahan ng iba't ibang mga magagaling na countries sa pagbuo ng vaccine. Pero siyempre, I could feel that our beloved president of the Philippines is very close to China. That's why he first initiated contacting China. And of course, doon tayo una nagkaroon ng order ng vaccine. Ano nga yung vaccine galing China?
Po. Sinovac.
Sinovac. All right. So yun. Wait lang ha. Jen, meron ba tayong classmate na Marie Allen Joyce Hernandez? Wala no, sila lang to, no? Okay. Hindi ko muna sila papapasukin kasi mamaya pa silang hapon. Meron kasi mga ma-ed students na gusto na pumasok ngayon. Gusto ko doctoral lang muna ngayong umaga. Kasi ibang topic ko sa kanila mamayang hapon. So, Sinovac, no? And even other countries have produced various forms of vaccine, no? Meron galing sa Pfizer. Ano yung sikat na galing sa galing sa first world country? Aside from Sinovac, are you familiar?
Moderna.
Moderna, yan. Kaya ngayon, ang mga Pilipino ay nagkakaiba-iba ng sinasabi nila na ayaw nila ng Sinovac dahil hindi daw efficient. Mas gusto nila ng Moderna kasi 95% ang efficiency, etc., etc. And the government actually has launched the vaccination alam ko starting February yata nag-launch na sila, and they they prioritized the healthcare frontliners, yung mga medical doctors natin, yung mga nurses, RadTech, etc., etc. And as far as I know, correct me if I'm wrong, the second priority would be the army, no? And the third is the people from the education. No? Kaya, Ma'am Cecil, kailan ba ang DepEd?
Wala pa tayo, sir. Pero sir, mukhang sa atin ang mas madaming ngayon eh.
Oo nga kasi nga.
Sa ano natin, sa ano natin ngayon sa mga districts, parang mas lumaki ngayon, Doc eh. Kahit sa DO natin. Mukhang may bago na naman daw.
Kaya nga madalas sa DO mag-disinfect no?
Sabi namin, sa field na lang kami, Doc. Kaya lang, PSDSS nandun eh. Kayo, Doc eh. Kami naka-field kami at the moment because of sa ALS natin for checking of portfolios kasi wala tayong national exam. So kaming mga EPSA ang nagfa-facilitate ng checking. Kaya lang natakot kami kasi may mga national high schools na natin sa areas na nito lang, Doc, recent lang, last week daw.
Yeah.
Meron na mga national high schools na tinamaan ng mga teachers ng COVID.
That's right.
Kaya naghang tayo ngayon. Wala nang drop and pick muna.
Even in Hagonoy. That's why even some mayors in some district, in some municipalities have canceled the distribution of modules. Probably because of that reason, na to stop the spread of virus. Kaya lang, ang concern naman kasi ni Mama Stoles, they should have communicated first with the Department of Education. When they make decisions, dapat partner ang DepEd at saka
Nabigla rin, Doc eh. Kasi akala natin next week ganun pa rin, drop and pick. So naka-schedule si teacher, ang mindsetting nila, naka-inset lang tayo within this week and then after that, balik ulit. Kaya lang biglang na-caught unaware si teacher, meron pa lang ganun. Ngayon, di namin alam ngayon paano adjustment ang gagawin.
Yeah.
Nagulo ulit, Doc.
Even in Hagonoy, the cases is rising. The cases of COVID virus are rising. And kahit ako, dahil kailangan ko rin ingatan ng family ko at saka mga nakasama ko, nagpa-test ako. Nagpa-test
Okay, voluntary.
from testing before Duterte came sa Gregorio. Nagpa-test ulit ako this week and negative naman. So, ang sabi nila ni Ma'am Mostoles, we have no option. We in the DepEd, nakasama na ako, nakawi na ako, no? We are also frontliners. And ngayon na ako negative na, mag-iikot ulit ako sa mga schools. Kahit may banta ng COVID sa Hagonoy, I have no other option but to really perform the function that is given to me as PSDS. And yun nga, nagkaroon ng kaguluhan because some mayors, like mayor in Baliwag, released an announcement that the delivery of the self-learning module will be stopped, no? So kaya nag-emergency meeting kahapon kasi parang nagkaroon ng assumptioning lahat ay that is applicable to all. Kasi like for example, in Hagonoy East District, although there is a surge of coronavirus infection, wala namang announcement si Mayor Amboy, wala namang communication about stopping the distribution. So continuous pa din. Ang ginawa lang namin, in my case, as PSDS, I am monitoring now the distribution in the sense na kung dati sa isang araw ay 600 ang kaya nilang ma-distribute. Ngayon, yung 600, segregate ko from Monday to Friday and by schedule kasi bawal kasi talaga naman ngayon yung mass distribution eh. Dapat talaga yan konti-konti lang ang pumupunta sa school. So yun lang ang i-monitor ko siguro pag ikot ko sa mga schools. Because we have no other option but to really continue the education despite this coronavirus. Kasi kung hindi, na-extend na nga tayo, kung hanggang July 10 tayo, so mag-extend na naman tayo ng another weeks kung i-stop na naman yung ating So ang naging bottom line ng usapan kahapon, we will continue the delivery and pick up of modules. Kaya lang, with strict implementation of health protocols. Kaya nga kahit nga yung mga ang ginawa ko ngayon, share ko lang sa inyo, ginawa ko sa Hagonoy East District, lalo yung malalaking schools. Yung mga teacher na involved ay PPE sila. Magsusot sila ng PPEs para sila mga healthcare professionals. But they need that for protection. Pangalawa, hindi pwede na papuntahin ng mga parents ng sabay-sabay. Bibigyan ng schedule ng mga parents. Pag sinabing grade 2 ay 9 a.m. to ganito, dapat 9 to 10, dapat ganong oras sila darating. Kasi hindi katulad dati na dumadagsa na anytime pumupunta. Saka yung mga lahat ng teachers ay nandoon. So this time, I discouraged them from doing that and kailangan naka-PPE sila. And yung mga walang hand washing area sa malapit sa gate ay doon ko pinaalat yung kanilang MOOE. Wala muna sabi ko mga repainting, mga building. Ang i-build niyo is hand washing areas. Lalo sa malalapit sa gate. Kasi mas mura pa yung sabon at saka tubig kaysa sa alcohol. Nakadry pa ng skin ng alcohol. At least yung sabon saka tubig, it will still nourish your skin. So anyways, this COVID talaga has caused a lot of problems in our educational delivery system. And ito yung sinasabi ko noon, share ko lang din ulit yung aking experience when we were having a meeting kasi I was a Dangal ng Lipi awardee last 2017. Share ko lang po ito. I'm not bragging. And then after a year, I was invited to become one of the board members of the Dangal ng Lipi Foundation. Kasi meron Dangal ng Lipi Foundation whose function is to provide community services to the poor. So that time, ang lagi, pag kumatin ako ng meeting, ang lagi nila dinidiscuss yung mga hospitals, yung mga nurses, yung mga healthcare workers, etc. etc. So ako naman, I have nothing against that. So palibasa, ako lang nasa field ng education na member ng board of trustees, board member. I was also raising the idea na sabi ko, when the Department of Education or CHED have opened their classes, sabi ko, there is a possibility, especially kung mag-face-to-face or kung wala mang face-to-face, kung may modular man yan, malaki ang possibility that this COVID virus will be present now in schools. I already predicted that, and sabi ko there may be a surge of cases of COVID. Kaya lang di nila naiintindihan kasi wala sila sa field ng education. Kaya that time although meron akong suggestion na we also need to prioritize hindi lang yung hospitals, but also these teachers who are also frontliners, because people from DepEd and CHED are also frontliners, especially kapag nag-open yung classes. Di ba ano nun, March nag-start last year. So parang pasara na yung klase nun. So hindi nila iniintindi masyado yung opening ng classes kasi nakafocus yung mind nila sa hospitals lamang. O so ito na nga, na parang hindi masyadong pinansin. And sabi ko nga, itong pagtaas ng cases ng mga sa DepEd, ito ay dahil sa, to me, kailangan maging stricter ang implementation talaga ng IATF protocol, lalo sa mga teachers and lalo sa mga parents, no? Kasi can you imagine sa Hagonoy, merong naging affected na as young as 5 years old, no? And kapag umiikot ako doon, parang normal lang, nasa kalsada ang mga tao. Nasa kalsada ang mga bata. Yung mga magulang. Akala ko na bawasan yung mga chismosa sa kalsada, meron pa rin. Walang mga face mask. So, no wonder, kaya tumataas yung coronavirus. Akala ko ngayon online na ang chismisan. Meron pa rin palang mga face-to-face na chismisan. Mga nakatambay sa kanto. So anyways, and this one, I'm sorry. This is one of the problems now that we are facing. And take note current problem. We will not be talking about the problems of the past. We will be talking of the problems and issues of the current situation. Is my voice clear? Hindi ba ako nag-choppy? Okay naman?
Very clear po, Dean.
Very clear po.
I'm sorry, clear, very clear. Thank you. Kasi I'm
Apo.
checking whether my internet connection is okay. So yun. To continue, symptoms, syempre alam na natin ito, according to Shirin et al., include cough, fever, and shortness of breath, which can be transferred through close contact with an infected person by coughing, sneezing, respiratory droplets, or aerosols. Kaya nga, ngayon, mahirap magkaubo, mahirap magkasipon, at mahirap lagnatin. Kasi kahit simpleng ubo lang yan, naku po, baka ang yan, virus kagad yan. Kaya tuloy yung iba, natatakot magpa-check up sa hospital. Kasi baka mamaya, hindi na sila makauwi. Idiretso na sila sa COVID facility, sa quarantine facility. Yung iba naman, nalulungkot dahil dinala lang sa hospital, masama lang ang pakaramdam. Nung namatay, ayun, diniretso na, sinunog na kagad, hindi na binurol. Kasi nga, the symptoms of COVID-19 is almost the same as simple colds, no? Simple cough, no? Yung mga simple na, yung mga influenza. So, kaya mag-iingat tayo. Huwag kayong uubo sa harap ng baka bigla kayong dali sa hospital. Kahit nga simpleng sipon no. Kaya ako nung when I learned last week we supposedly we should have an LSB meeting with the mayor, yung local school board. Kaya lang I did not attend because I learned from them na nagkaroon ng COVID case sa munisipyo ng Hagonoy. Syempre, kailangan mo naman nila muna mag-disinfect before ako pumunta doon. Tapos, yung staff ko who is a district clerk, kasi may district clerk ang bawat PSDS na under ng mayor. Siya yung pabalik-balik doon. Siyempre, pag galing siya ng munisipyo, pupunta sa office ko. So natakot din ako kasi sabi ko, baka mamaya, hindi nga ako pumunta, pero siya naman ang nagdadala ng virus sa office. Tapos, siyempre, this time, lahat ng PSDSS ay nagkaroon na ng reporting na once a week. No, Ma'am Cecil, no? Kami mga taga-EDIS.
Once a week na, Doc.
Start na kami. Kami yung first batch. Kaming taga-EDIS 1, nag-start ng Tuesday. And Ang EDIS 2 ay Wednesday, EDIS 3 ay Thursday, EDIS 4 ganyan. So kami first batch. Tipong meron ding case sa DO, di ba? Kaya kaya madalas sa pa-disinfect ng DO. Kaya yun, natakot din ako kasi there was a time na may close contact din ako sa principal. Siyempre, kinakausap ko mga principal who happens to be na yung anak niya ay nag-work sa Manila na naging positive. Kaya yung ibang case ng Hagonoy ay hindi talaga sa Hagonoy nakuha sa Manila. Kaya lang, yung anak niya at siya magkasama sa bahay. At nagkaroon ako ng close call. So nag-quarantine ako ng ilang araw dito sa bahay. Tapos the other day, nagpa-swab ako. Sa awa ng Diyos, lumabas naman negative naman. So pwede na ulit ako lumabas ng Monday. Pero simula nung nag-report ako ng Tuesday sa division, di mo na ako lumabas. I'm just sharing with you na talagang delikado ang role ng mga taga-DepEd ngayon, especially kung ikaw ay directly contacting these persons like parents, principals, or whoever from the DepEd. Lalo naman kami din sa PSDS, sa mga PSDS, hindi lang taga-DepEd ang aming kakontak, pati yung mga tao sa mayor's office. Meron kasing local school board. Ayan, i-compose yan ng 3 konsihal. Siyempre, nakikipag-meeting din kami. So, we can never tell ngayon kung Tapos meron kaming sa office ko sa Hagonoy, meron akong AOS. Yung mga AOS, umiikot yan sa mga different schools. Yung may schedule yan, Ma'am Cecil,
Kaya lang, Doc, baka everyday, mayat-maya ka nagpapaswab. Yun yung naging dilemma kasi, Doc although nagpaswab, sabi nga namin, kaya lang, hindi pa rin, kasi
exposed talaga.
exposed pa rin, especially yung mga nasa DO kasi nagfi-field
Tama. Lalo kayo mga nagfi-field at kami rin na nasa district na umiikot din kami from school to school. At sa office namin, hindi ako katulad ko, ilan ang AO na nag-office doon na umiikot din sa iba't ibang schools. Meron pang ADAS. Yung ADAS na tagadala ng mga documents sa DO. Tapos tinatanong ko kung anong transportation niya, jeepney. So, kaya nakaka-paranoid din minsan. But we have to keep it ourselves kasi or else yung mga kasama natin matatakot din, panghihinaan din ng loob. So we just have to inform them na we need to strengthen our immune system by taking a lot of vitamins, walang kamatayang vitamins. Kaya hindi ako nagpo-promote bili na kayo. Joke lang. Pero you need to take a lot of vitamins. And yung rest, yung good rest, yung sinasabi nilang tulog na mahaba, importante yon. Sir Algie, natawa ka sa pinromote ko. Hindi ako nagpo-promote, umiinom talaga ako nun ever since. Sir Algie, meron pa ipapakita sa'yo, iniinom ko. Ewan ko kung mababasa mo.
Sana, sir.
Sir Algie,
Sana po. Ay, ano po yan? Yan ako. Walang po ako.
Ano basa mo?
Opo.
Basahin mo nga, pakibasa.
Sosyalan natin ng konti. Jenna Cole. Sikat po yung brand na yan.
So anyway, sa isang araw siguro, mahina ang 10 tableta or capsules na iniinom ko. But we have no option kasi we are public servants and we need to strengthen our immune system kasi ang COVID ay talaga namang umaarangkada ngayon, And it's becoming worse and worse every time. Na hindi lang siya COVID-1. Nagkaroon pa ng mga variants, May UK variant, may iba't ibang variants May mga iba't ibang may mga iba't ibang name pa, depende kung saan ang galing. Though it affects people of all ages, it is most vulnerable to adults, children, and people with underlying medical conditions. Kaya nga lagi natin sinasabi, kapag yung ating kasamahan ay meron ng sakit, huwag mo nang lumabas kasi mas lalo siyang may expose. Lalo yung mga matatanda na meron ng mga pneumonia, yung meron mga underlying conditions like weaknesses of the immune system, no? And as of this time, the number of infections and deaths is still increasing worldwide. Talo pa yung COMELEC, no? Yung COMELEC pagkatapos ng election tapos na ang pagbibilang. Ngayon hindi natatapos ang pagbibilang ng coronavirus cases Araw-araw, pinakamalaki kahapon 7,100. So in order to avoid the infection, containment, mitigation, contact tracing, self-isolation, social distancing, wearing of face masks, improved healthcare systems, hand washing, and surface cleaning is recommended by the World Health Organization. Kaya pag kayo ay papasok sa school, una niyong gawin, syempre walang kamatayang face mask and face shield, walang kamatayang social or physical distancing, at kung kayo ay may table, araw-araw paki-alcohol yung table ninyo kasi kailangan po yun. Di natin alam, no? And even ang mga modules na pinapa-deliver, ay pinapa-disinfect ko rin po before i-deliver sa mga parents. And before i-retrieve, i-disinfect din po. Kasi kawawa din yung teacher na magre-receive. No? Kaya nga, yes, the other night, kahit gabing-gabi na, I tried to call Dr. Rain. Ma'am Cecil, si Dr. Rain, yung EPS natin for LRMD.
LR.
Kasi I was thinking na this pandemic will not end too soon. And nobody can tell when this will end. So therefore, this modular approach is also imposing threats to both our teachers and learners, including parents. Why? Because papers can also be carriers of virus. Kaya nga ako kahapon, kagabi, kahit gabi na, tinawagan ko si Ma'am Rain because I was asking of the procedure. Kasi ang challenge ko sa Hagonoy East District that the principals and the teachers should come up with video materials or lesson na kung saan yung mga magagaling na teacher, Sir Oliver, nandito ka ba? Nandito ka pa ba?
Yes po, Doc. Yes po, Doc.
Project natin sa Hagonoy. Na yung mga magagaling na teachers, after needs analysis, magpapa-needs analysis muna tayo. Ibig sabihin, alamin natin kung saan weak yung mga estudyante. And then these video materials will enhance, will enrich the identified weaknesses of the students. Pangalawa kasi, in my mind, hindi naman lahat ng parents ay merong mataas na pinag-aralan o may tinapos sa pag-aaral. Hindi natin alam kung yung module ay naituturo talaga sa mga bata ng mabuti. The reality is, yung mga teachers hindi naman nagtuturo di ba? Ang ginagawa nila, nagpe-prepare ng module, dinideliver o pinapamigay sa mga parents. So therefore, I'm thinking of including some innovations like teachers will be developing a short video lesson na pwedeng ipadala sa messenger ng mga parents o ng mga estudyante, na instead na parents lamang ang nagtuturo, meron silang napapakinggan na teacher through video. Hindi recorded yon. Therefore, hindi kailangan ng data. Kung kailangan man nila ng data, yung pagpapadala lang through messenger. Pero pag na-save na kasi ang video, pwede na may save sa phone yan. Lahat naman ng parents may phone. So pag na-save ng parents sa phone, yun ang pwedeng ipanood sa mga anak nila. So instead of them providing discussion or lecture to their children, meron ng mga video materials na pwedeng panoorin ang mga estudyante. Kasi kahit may DepEd TV, di ba meron channel sa TV na DepEd, hindi pa rin lahat hindi pa rin lahat nakakasunod doon Kasi may time yun di ba? Hindi katulad ng recorded video material. Anytime, magkakaroon ng asynchronous learning na tinatawag. Kasi recorded siya, anytime na gustong aralin o balikan ng estudyante o ng parent, pwede nilang i-play ba kasi naka-record na o nandun na sa phone nila, naka-save na. So I called up Dr. Rain last night to ask for, kasi ISO ang DepEd I'm sure may procedure yan, to ask for a procedure on how I could propose that kind of activity, that kind of innovation na pwedeng gamitin sa Hagonoy East District. Kasi right now, sabi niya, limited, meron mga video materials pero limited. Kaya I also contacted the LRMDS in charge of Hagonoy East District, pinadala sa akin, talagang limited ang video material. So sa ngayon, yun ang nakikita kong isa sa mga possible hindi siya intervention should I say, kasi meron namang module pang enrich, no? Enrichment of what is already existing. Kasi hindi nga natin sigurado kung tama ang pinapasagot ng mga parents or hindi nga natin sigurado kung yung parents ang nasasagot o yung estudyante doon sa module. That's why this school year really kailangan maging lenient na mga teachers kasi hindi natin sigurado kung talagang natuto ang mga estudyante natin. So, of course, that is the situation and we cannot do something about it. But what we can do is to further solve the problem. It was already solved actually by providing modules nga. And even the national government is spending a lot of money for the reproduction of self-learning modules. And in fact, nararamdaman ko na nagkakaroon na sila ng pagkaubos ng pera kasi minsan na-delay na ang printing. Di ba, Ma'am Cecil, no?
Kaya sir, merong 1 week tayo. Kaya nagkaroon Doc ng 1 week inset. Kasi meron tayong lag Actually, Doc, permit me to speak dun sa nabanggit niyo po. Last time, nagkaroon tayo ng teacher broadcaster before ng training. Parang isa po yun sa naging parang proposal sa formal school. Dahil nga po parang nakita nila kinukulang or nagkakaroon ng necessity talaga dahil may kulang tayo for module. And then parang alam ko sir, meron yatang program Doc na itutuloy bawat distrito parang magkakaroon ng bawat room or bawat area for teacher broadcaster to produce po mga outputs. Kaya lang hindi namin alam kung nasaan na yung direction ngayon, kung alin. Kasi nagbigay na sila ng schedule before, nakasama po dito yung ALS. Kaya though ang ALS naman po talagang ginagawa kasi ang sinusulong namin ngayon for alternative learning ay RBI, the radio-based instruction. Though we are doing naman din yung yung online at saka yung video lesson. Pero I think meron sila sa formal ng teacher broadcaster. Kaya lang medyo bumagal ng konti ang facing. We're still waiting sa DO kung ano ang stand. Kasi medyo parang nagkaroon ng lull Bumulusok nung umpisa, pero nawala bigla. Medyo naglaylo. Kaya kumakapa kami, sabi namin, sumasabay kasi kami Doc sa formal Though gumagawa ang ALS, kaya lang we would also like to work hand in hand with them para hindi rin naman naiiba ang direction ng alternative learning. Kaya lang, nakikita namin, syempre mas marami ang mahihirap sa ALS compared doon sa nasa formal natin kung paano. Kaya we really exhaust or really try to look for other options. And RBI is one of our option talaga para ma-reach out yung iba. And then the rest, gumagawa kami ng recorded videos. Tapos nun binibigay sa bata either USB, but there are moments dun sa ALS natin po hindi rin kaya ang USB kasi nalaman namin na wala silang mapagsaksakan nung sa USB port nila. So ang naging option po namin ay gumawa ng recorded video pero via yun nga po Doc, via Messenger. Tapos may iba naman hindi kinakaya ng mobile data, parang ganon. Sabi namin, at least sabi nga namin kahit pa konti-konti. Though yung tama po yung nabanggit nyo, Doc, kasi nag-iintay din naman ang field kung ano ang gagawin ng nasa taas. Medyo bumaga lang ng konti. Kaya sabi namin, yung facing, yun lang ang medyo nagkukulang. Medyo mabagal.
That's right. Kaya kagabi, I received naman a positive response from Dr. Rain and I think she she was happy that I would like to initiate such kind of activity. And kaya ko inalam yung procedure. So I learned na kailangan meron mo ng evaluation at the school level, district level, division level, and regional level. So sabi ko, the reason why I asked that because I'd like to follow the procedure. And yung mga teachers, I would like them to be productive while at home. Kasi ang pagre-record naman ng lesson, it doesn't need for you naman to be in the room in the classroom Nasa isang decent place ka lang, nasa isang area ka lang na maayos yung background mo, pwede na Tapos itatandem ko pa yan sa mga IT, yung mga magagaling mag-edit, pwede yun. And then, since MELCs lang tayo ngayon, yung most essential learning competencies lang muna, ifo-focus ko lang muna sana doon yung paggawa ng mga videos. And the videos must not be very lengthy. The videos must be mga 10 to 15 minutes lang para din kaya na ma-send sa Messenger. Kasi if the videos are very lengthy, nako, the capacity of the messenger to be delivered, baka magkaroon ng problem doon. So that's one of my plans na to enrich the modular approach ngayon. Kaya lang ngayon ang modular ay nag-i-impose na rin ng threat because nga we do not know whether these papers, remember hindi nanggagaling yung galing sa central office na dinideliver. Hindi natin alam kung saan galing yan di ba? Nanggagaling ng Manila yan. So, I'm thinking na kung talaga nag-i-impose to ng threat at pag ito yung naging effective, let's say umabot sa regional level at magtatagal pa ang pandemic, and then let us eradicate na ang modular. Let us proceed to pure video lesson materials, and then the money that is being used for modules can be provided to the parents and students by giving them data para dun magkaroon ng kahit mga 30 minutes na face-to-face through online face-to-face. Kasi katotoo lang, of course di naman ako, bago lang ako sa DepEd, pero inaaral ko kasi yung situation. Nangihinayang ako dun sa pera na nagagastos sa papel. No? Tapos ang sumasagot lang kung sino-sino, hindi naman talaga estudyante. Pangalawa, nangihinayang ako sa pera na minsan late naman dumarating, no? Kaya nga katulad ngayon, merong mga certain grade levels na ang reproduction ay school-based. Kasi hindi pa ma-deliver ng late ang delivery ng central office. Kaya nga buti na lang ang mga taga-Hagonoy East District, yung mga school heads, tsaka yung mga teachers ay masisipag. Kaya I'm happy to inform you, ibabrag ko lang ang sarili kong distrito na 1:1 ngayon ang Hagonoy East District at tuloy-tuloy sila by Monday ng delivery. Ang binabantayan ko lang kaya ako iikot, ayokong magkaroon ng mass gathering. Dapat by schedule 'yan at yung mga teachers na in-instruct ko mga school heads, ang mga magbibigay ng modules ay naka-PPE. Sabi ko, pagtiyagaan nyo na, pero yung MOOE ninyo, i-review ninyo, yung iba, ipambili nyo ng PPE. Para safe din naman yung mga namimigay na ng modules, no? And I'm very happy because people from Hagonoy East District are very cooperative and very kind. No? During this very cooperative sila. So far, maisingit ko lang, I am enjoying my PSDS work. Nakaisang buwan na ako from February 18. Nag-mansary ako ng March 18. with the several meetings that I had with principals, with GPTA Federation, with HEPSTA, yung mga organization ng teachers, and with the different stakeholders. Nakikita ko naman yung kanilang cooperation. Because that is what we need now. During the pandemic, we need cooperation and collaboration. We need to be united. Hindi pwede magkakanya-kanya. Kaya kahapon nagpatawag si Ma'am Mostoles ng emergency meeting kasi hindi pwede na porket ang Baliwag ay nag-stop from delivering modules ay mag-i-stop na ang lahat. Hindi pwedeng matigil ang lahat. Tsaka hindi naman lahat ng mayor ay nag-declare ng ganong klase ng activity na stopping ng delivery ng module. Kung nagpa-stop ang Baliwag, sabi nga ni Ma'am Mostoles, wala na tayong magagawa doon, pero dapat gagawa ng alternative activity para hindi matenga yung mga estudyante for a week or for 2 weeks or kung hanggang kailan man yan. No? And what is important now, yung sinasabi kong cooperation and collaboration through communication. Kaya nga, Ma'am Senya reminded yesterday that we in the Department of Education should be constantly communicating kung tayo ay official, we should be constantly communicating with the local government officers. Kasi para yung decisions naman nila ay naka-align din naman sa DepEd. Although sila yung head ng IATF, pero i-anchor muna nila doon sa requirement din ng DepEd. Kasi meron naman tinatawag na Learning Continuity Plan may LCP na dapat masunod. So yun naman ang point natin. Pinapaalam ko sa inyo kasi talaga naman lahat ay affected ngayon . Kaya nga nag-request ako sa Monday, gusto ko makipag-Zoom meeting kay Mayor Amboy. Baka kasi mamaya agayahin niya yung Baliwag. I-inform ko na kagad siya na hindi naman pwedeng porket nag-stop yung Baliwag, mag-stop din tayo. Pero I'm happy with Amboy, Mayor Amboy. Nauna pa sa governor mag-announce ng mga guidelines. Sana walang maka-gov dito Tawag dito, si Mayor Amboy Monday pa lang may guidelines na ni-release. No? Meron na siyang liquor ban, meron na siyang curfew, etc. Yung provincial government parang the following day pa lang nag-release. Anyways, just a sharing, no? And then the fight against the threats to COVID-19 pandemic suffered profound effects and impacts on almost all sectors in the human race. All sectors. When I say all sectors, health sector, business sector, including educational sector. We are not exempted from this threat. These have resulted in the widespread disruptions such as travel restrictions. Ayan, yung mga mahilig mag-Boracay, mag-Palawan, hindi na makalabas. Closure of schools. Kasi ang kawawa ngayon ng mga private schools. Because private schools, they always depend on the number of students. The students are their bread and butter. Without the students, they will be dead. Kaya importante na may estudyante sila. So there were already schools in Manila na nagkaroon ng closure because of the viability, no, of the program offerings. Global economic recession na to the point ng ating mga kababayan pinapauwi na from other countries kasi sarado na rin yung companies nila doon. Pag uwi dito, wala nang trabaho. Sino-sino yung ngayon? Karamihan mga seaman, nag-uwian yan. At least ang domestic helpers, hindi kasi sa bahay kailangan talaga sila . Pero yung mga involved sa mga companies abroad, no? There are also political conflicts, no, because of this pandemic. Kasi syempre, kitang-kita niyo naman na hindi pagkakasundo ni Duterte at saka ni Lenny. Lagi silang may bangayan. Even sa pag-purchase ng vaccine, nagkakaroon sila ng mga political conflicts. And misinformation and controversies, to name a few. Mga misinformation about of course, the virus. Kaya importante ang tinatawag nating communication para hindi tayo ma-misinform, no? Yung kahapon, kaya nagpatawag ng emergency meeting kasi nga nagkaroon ng misinformation na akala ng DepEd porket ang Baliwag in some areas ay nag-stop ng modular delivery. Akala nila buong SDO Bulacan na. So we were reminded by Ma'am Mostoles na ang mga municipalities iba-iba naman na situation nila. And as much as possible, kami daw mga PSDSS ay makipag-usap sa mga mayor para sabihin na hindi pwedeng i-stop itong tinatawag nating modular learning delivery. Kasi part ito ng learning continuity plan. Kaya one of the most affected during this time is the educational sector. Most affected. Of course, ang business din naman. Marami nawawalan ng trabaho. Of course, ang health sector din naman, marami na namatay na nurses at saka mga doctors. So lahat naman halos affected. Kaya lang, since you are taking EDD, major in educational management, I would say na one of the most affected is the educational sector, especially during this time of modular learning delivery. So for almost a year now, most countries around the world have temporarily closed educational institutions to contain the spread of the COVID-19 pandemic and reduce infections. Common naman yan eh. If one building or if one department has an infected personnel, automatic yan. Hindi naman closure, kumbaga disinfection lang. Pag ang eskwelahan nagkaroon ng isang case ng COVID, automatic yan, mga ilang araw walang pasok yan because of disinfection. Even in division office, pag nagkakaroon ng cases yan, palagi yung pinapa-close for 2 day in disinfection. This closure has affected more than 1.2 billion learners worldwide with more than 28 million learners in the Philippines. Kaya nga nangyari, ang mga private sectors, private educational sectors, ay nagsasara. Bakit? Dahil hindi naman natin masisi yung mga parents nila na wala ng trabaho. So siguro nagtitipid, inilipat sa public yung mga anak nila. Kaya marami ang ngayon ang nag-migrate from private school to public school. Kasi ang point ng ibang parents, bakit ako magbabayad ng 40,000 or 30,000 sa isang private school samantalang modules din naman ang ginagawa ng ibang private school. Meron mang face-to-face, pero most of the activity ay sa parents pa rin napupunta yung gawain. Hindi katulad dati na merong face-to-face talaga. Wala lang face-to-face ngayon, meron mang online, pero most of the activities ay parents pa rin ang tumutulong talaga. Hindi katulad noon na wala pang pandemic, maghapong iniiwanan ng parent ng anak sa school. So maghapon siyang free. At talagang ang nagtuturo ay teacher talaga sa classroom. Kaya okay lang magbayad ng ganun kalaki. Kaya some parents would say na it's not practical that you still enroll your child in private school kasi halos ganun din naman na nangyayari. Yung mga activities ay karamihan parents pa rin naman ang gumagawa. Responses like community lockdown, ayan, mukhang mararanasan natin to in the future, and community quarantine of several countries have led students and teachers to study and work from home, which led to the delivery of online learning platforms, according to Crawford et al. In 2020. However, these online learning platforms is not applicable to all, because not all parents and students have the capacity, have the capability to provide technology and technical availability. Kasi ba sinabing technology and technical availability, yung mga internet, no? Tsaka yung cellphone. Cellphone na nga lang, minsan hirap pa sila eh. Laptops, di ba, importante yun. And take note ha, kahit mga teachers minsan, hirap din sa yung mga nasa SSES, nag-a-adjust din. Nag-a-adjust din sila yung mga teachers kasi hindi nga sila sanay eh. Minsan kahit nga Zoom nung mga unang panahon nangangapa pa yan, Google Meet, talagang kinapa nila yan. Kaya therefore, nakaka-experience lang ng talagang totoong online learning platform sa public school, yung mga merong mga SSES na klase, mga special science, no, classes, sections, no. And kahit sa private school, kahit yan ay private, nagmo-modular din yan. Katulad ni Sir Junel, Dr. Junel, nasa Ritual yan. Sir Junel, nandito ka ba?
Yes po, Doc. Yes po.
Aside from, alam ko may online kayo, pero majority, ano ang binibigay ninyo sa mga bata?
Bali po, Doc, lahat po ng subjects po namin ay nagbibigay po kami ng module. Pero po yung teaching po ng mga subjects po, sa major subjects po nagkakandak po kami ng online classes. Synchronous and asynchronous po. Pero sa minor subject po namin, sa higher ed, pure modular po.
Blended sila. Kasi nga, masyadong magastos kung lahat i-online mo yan. Talagang pag nag-online ka kasi kailangan lahat available eh, no? So yun, kahit ang private, nagmo-modular din. Nagkataon lang na ang most of the public schools ay purely modular ang ginagawa. Pero meron din naman mga public schools katulad ng sinabi ng SSES ay gumagamit din ng ng blended, no? Na pero parang meron sila na twice or thrice a week na nag-Google Meet, no? Pero not all. Selected few lang ito. Siguro ito yung mga nasa star section, tama ba? Mr. Oliver? Kayo ba sa IBA merong blended yung merong online sa IBA? O purely modular lang?
Sir, pure modular po ang IBA National High School.
Ilan lang pala talaga.
Opo, sir.
Kasi meron din ako nababalitaan, gumagamit din naman ng mga blended online. Pero hindi araw-araw, no? Sa inyo, Sir Ernie.
Hi, yes, sir. Good morning po. Modular po sa Giginto District. Pero po din po kami online monitoring and mentoring once in a week. Nagko-conduct po kami.
Okay, all right.
Pero po yung mga can't afford na mga bata talaga, purely modular in Giginto District.
Oh, hindi lahat talaga.
Pero po galing po ako.
All right, thank you. So I think lahat naman yan, yung mga sinabi natin ay applicable sa lahat ng DepEd schools. No? However, the implementation of online learning poses different risks, problems, and challenges to both the teachers and students, especially in the higher education institutions. No? Kasi bakit? Yung online learning na yan, minsan, kaya nga ako, as much as possible whenever I teach, kung ako yung nagtuturo, gusto ko naka-open yung mga camera nila. Kasi hindi katulad nyo, mga matured and na kayo, responsible na kayo eh. Meron mga sa college students na uma-attend kuno ng online learning, naka-off yung camera, pero iba yung ginagawa. Iba yung ginagawa, kaya ni-off nila yung kanilang camera. So maraming mga cases or mga issues sa paggamit ng online learning, lalo na sa higher education institutions. At the basic education, the Department of Education implemented, ito yung sinasabi ko kanina, the Learning Continuity Plan, which took effect last school year 2020-2021, and classes opened, tama ba, last August 24, 2020, instead of June 2020. Nagkaroon ng delay. Kaya ngayon, Ma'am Mostoles would like to really end the school year by July 10 para makapag-open ulit tayo ng August. Kasi kung mapoprolong na naman yan, magmo-move na naman yung opening ng classes for next school year. In the higher education sector, the Commission on Higher Education, HEIs were given academic freedom and should implement available distance learning, e-learning, and other alternative modes of delivery to students. And one of them nga, yung tinatawag natin na learning management system. No? Learning management system. So what is now the new normal and post-COVID educational plans? Kasi kailangan may plans tayo eh, post-COVID. Kahit may COVID pa ngayon, hindi pa natin kayang antayin na matapos. Actually, kahit may COVID pa, we can already have plans, educational plans. Kung sa palagay natin, kaya importante ngayon at the end of the school year, magkaroon tayo ng evaluation of what happened for the entire school year. So that when we develop our plans for school year 2021-2022, those plans will be anchored on data, on experiences during the school year 2020-2021. Within the new normal, the situation presents a unique challenge to every educational leader's decision-making process. Even in the budget, magkakaroon kayo ng mga realignment of budget. Kung dati-dati, ang plano ninyo ay magpatayo ng mga buildings, ngayon hindi pa kailangan ng buildings. Kaya nakakalungkot mang isipin, hindi naman kasi ini-expect din ni Duterte na magkakaroon ng pandemic. Nakakalungkot mang isipin na yung Gregorio del Pilar na inaugurate last time ay parang hindi rin masyadong gamit na gamit, no? Kasi nga sayang, parang kumbaga sayang. Sana yung budget na ialat na lang sa mas kapaki-pakinabang na bagay. But of course, kasi naman kinonceptualize 'yon, wala pang pandemic and wala namang nakakaalam na magkakaroon ng pandemic last year eh. According to Caralis in 2020, what is worth studying after returning to normality are the implications that have arisen from the day after. That is, what adjustments need to be made, the extent of the situation, and to define the basic dimensions of education and learning in formal education systems and organizations. By the way, hindi lang formal, even the non-formal education systems and organizations amid educational disruptions. Yun ngayon ang dapat nating pagplanuhan for the next school year na kailangan nating mag-adjust. Yun nga kaya nga as early as now, nag-need analysis ako. Initially, I have the data that would tell me na yung ating modular learning ay nakakatulong, naging intervention natin, pero not yet enough. Not yet enough to teach the young ones. Because when you say modular learning approach, that would employ independent learning. Pag sinabing independent learning, katulad nyo na yon. Nabigyan ko lang kayo ng topic, kahit hindi tayo mag-meet ng isang buwan, aaralin nyo yon without my monitoring. Kasi matured and professionals na kayo. But in the basic education, these children are not yet matured. These children are yet developing, and they need full guidance. Kaya nga ang inisip ko, ano pa ngayon ang pwede nating ipasok for next school year? Pwedeng i-enrich aside from the what we call SLM. Kaya iyon, as early as now, gagawa na ako ng letter kay Ma'am Mostoles na mag-ask ako ng permission kung papayagan niya na ako ay mag-start ng mag-develop ng mga video materials. Kasi sabi nga ni Duterte, hanggang 2023 pa daw itong situation. No? So kailangan na natin i-enrich yung ating current educational learning delivery through modular approach. And let us accept the reality na mahihirap ang mga estudyante natin sa DepEd. Hindi nila kayang bumili ng technology at hindi nila kaya magpakabit ng internet na magbabayad ng monthly. Hindi nila kaya yon. And ang hirap din naman, ako nire-review ko yung CEF, yung budget from the local school board. Nagdadahan-dahan din ako kasi bago din ako. Pero kung ako masusunod, gusto kong mag-alat ang mga municipality, ang mga mayor, ng budget, ng improvement ng internet connections and technology or provision, or sana makipag-tandem ang kung ako siguro pagdating ng pag medyo matagal na ako, pag medyo may ngipin na ako sa DepEd, makikipag-deal ako kung sa mga mayor at sasabihin ko sa kanila na makipag-tandem sa mga Smart Globe or yung DITO, DITTO, meron ng ganun, di ba? Makipag-tandem na instead na nagbibigay ng mga, kasi nakita ko sa Hagones, sa atin lang to nagbibigay ng, meron silang budget for books. Sa panahon ngayon, parang hindi kailangan ng books. Kasi may self-learning modules na. Nandun na lahat No? Magkano din yun? Kung ako tatanungin, ipambili na lang ng mga gadgets, pangtulong pambili ng gadgets, na kung saan nakasave yung mga kung saan nakasave yung mga video materials na ipamimigay sa mga estudyante. Kung ako lang tatanungin. Kasi yung national budget, instead na mag-print ng modules, ilagay na sa technology. Kasi doon na tayo papunta talaga Yung module, kasi uulitin ko nga, pang-independent learning siya. Na dapat ang piniprint na lang ngayon, assessment na lang, tools na lang. Or wag na mag-written output, performance task na lang through online. No, halimbawa, reading. O pwede ka diyan mag-Google Meet and you listen to the student while he or she is reading and then you rate him or her. Pero nagbigay ka muna ng mga video materials on how to improve their reading, on how to improve the reading skills. Parang ganun. Ang nawala lang yung face-to-face. Binago lang natin, puro technology ang approach. Ang teaching through technology, yun nga, naka-save sa phone. Kaya kung ako, mag-i-invest siguro ako sa cellphone. Yung mga, hindi namang ganun ka-high-tech na phone na pwedeng makapag-save ng mga video materials. No, instead na bumili ng mga libro, nakita ko ron may budget sa libro. Ang tanong ko nga sa utak ko lang yun, saan kaya dinadala yung libro? Siyempre, di ko tinatanong verbally, baka mabaril ako ni Mayor Amboy. Baka sabihin, ba't mo ako kino-question dito? Tapos, intellectual, exchange naman to. Gusto ko lang kasing gumana rin ng critical thinking ng lahat. No? Halimbawa, meron doon budget for construction ng building. Para saan? Wala mga estudyante ngayon sa school, hindi kailangan ng construction. Kaya sabi ko sa mga principal, mag-realign kayo. O di sige, nagpapa-repaint kayo, pero wala mo ng construction. Ang construction, mga hand washing area, pwede siguro. Pero building of classrooms or construction of ganyan, parang hindi kailangan. Saka na yan, pag meron ng face-to-face, ialat natin doon sa mas kailangan. Parang gano'n. Kaya yan sinasabi ko na, what is now our educational plans? Di ko pa nga masabing post-COVID kasi may COVID pa din O during this time of COVID, what will now be the plan? Yun siguro yung sinasabi ko rito na post-COVID, after a year of post-COVID, what will be the educational plans? And we need to reflect on this matter. Yung mga implications, yung mga adjustments needed, yung analysis of the situation, and to define the basic dimensions of education. And I'm happy nga na lumabas na email, si most essential learning competencies. Importante yun. Kasi meron pa rin, baka kasi mamaya meron pa rin mga teachers na hindi naman kailangan, tinuturo pa din. Hindi naman magagamit yan. Of course, another intervention is yung walang kamatayan na wearing of face mask and physical distancing. Along with the current spread of COVID-19 pandemic, physical distancing and face masks, wearing to public and private schools are compulsory once classes are resumed or started. Actually, kaya siya ginawa ng compulsory, may batas na di ba? Pag first time kang nahuli, merong 3,000 yata o 2,000. Pag pangalawang beses ka nahuli, may 5,000 ka. Pag pangatlo, ikukulong ka na. Alam ko si governor, provincial governor, naglabas na ng ganong resolution So, lahat ay dapat yan ma-implement. Governments around the world have issued policies and guidelines to implement physical distancing in order to flatten the pandemic curve. That was in 2020 pa. Kaya lang, parang hindi effective ang policies and guidelines. Siguro policies and guidelines are there, but the implementation siguro ang kailangan palakasin. We need to strengthen. The IATF guidelines are actually excellently conceptualized. Kaya lang the implementation is bad. No, sa una lang tayo naging mahigpit Nito ng bandang huli naging maluwag na sa implementation ng IATF talaga. In addition, wearing of face mask or even PPEs, no? Kaya nga yung mga mamimigay ng modules, magmumukha silang mga medical doctors and nurses. And I am requiring them to provide me a picture of actual distribution ng module kung saan nakikita na naka-PPE yung mga nagdi-distribute. As a public health intervention would probably intercept, we are hoping, the transmission link and prevent communicable diseases. Kasi hindi lang healthcare workers ngayon ang frontliners. We in the Department of Education are also frontliners. Kaya nga pinag-iisipan ko, pag mag-iikot ako, kung mag-PPE rin ako. Pagpunta ko sa mga school, naka-PPE ako, no? Hindi naman. Ang point ko lang, sinasabi ko sa mga school heads and principals, kung wala namang gagawin ang teacher sa school, wag nang papasukin. Mag-work from home na lang. Pupunta lang ang teacher sa school kung kinakailangan talaga. Pero para mag-decorate ng classroom, hindi kailangan ng decoration ng classroom ngayon dahil wala makakakita niyan. No? Pero kung tutulong para doon sa maintenance, for example, ng garden nila, pwede yun. Kung tutulong sa pagdidistribute ng module, pwede yun. No? So yun. Another thing na kailangan natin ngayong i-implement is the strengthening of online learning platforms. Kasi kung sinabi ni Duterte na magtatagal pa ang COVID, 2023 pa, abay dapat we should be able to strengthen our online platforms. Kasi akala natin 1 year lang yung COVID, after a year makaka-recover na tayo. Hindi eh. Imbis na maka-recover, lalo pang nag-surge pa yung statistics. So therefore, it is about time that we strengthen the online platforms, online learning platforms. I was telling the school heads, when they make an MOOE next school year, they should provide, they should allot, no? Parang ididepensahan na lang that these online learning platforms should be given priority in terms of budget. Kasi kahit magsabi tayo ng online, kung wala naman technology, ay wala din. Hindi natin magagawa. Meron naman na. Kailangan natin ma-strengthen. And to tell you honestly, sa office, sa district office ko sa Hagonoy East, mahina internet, mahina ang PLDT. Kaya minsan pag meron ako mga online meeting, di ako nag-office eh. Nag-work from home ako eh. Kasi magro-robot ako dun eh. District office na yun ah. So yun. Different countries worldwide have introduced various answers during the pandemic to continue the education process, which is the introduction of distance learning. And actually, ang totoong distance learning ay ang paggamit ng online. No? Yung paggamit ng modular ay hindi pa natin masasabi talaga na distance learning. Kasi distance learning would include technology. Meron dapat online learning platforms. Kaya nga, nagdadahan-dahan lang din ulit ako, yung merong mga nagsasabi na ang module ay distance learning. No. When you say distance learning, there is an inclusion of online platform. Kaya yung ating modular approach, I'm not very confident that this is a distance learning. These are online learning platforms, no? Such as, Google, TV broadcasts, guidelines, resources, video lectures, and online channels. Ito ang mga tinatawag nating distance learning or online learning platforms. Kaya sinasabi ni Ma'am Cecil kanina na radio broadcasting, pwede yun. That is a form of distance learning. Kasi pag sinabi mong distance learning, dapat may online platform kang ginamit. O yung sinasabi kong video lectures, ayan, pwede yan. Yan ang pinaka-feasible ngayon na wala masyadong gastos. Kasi ang mga teachers naman ay meron din mga magagandang cellphone yan. Actually, kapag may phone ka, di mo kailangan ng yung sa AB Communication Arts na meron kang studio, hindi mo kailangan ng studio. Even your own cellphone, maghanap ka lang ng magandang area na walang noise, you can already make a video lecture recording. Pwede na yun. Kaya yung iba, ang sinasabi nila, di sila makapag-provide ng video lectures kasi wala daw silang materials. No. Your own cellphone, if it is okay, yun nga lang, kailangan medyo maganda yung resolution, maganda yung camera mo dapat ay yung audio, maganda yung reception. Kasi para pag nag-record ka, clear ang pagkaka-record mo. And dapat pag nag-record ka, nasa isang area ka na wala masyadong mga manok, walang aso, walang nagbi-video na background, at walang naghuhugas ng pinggan para hindi narinig mga platong kumakalansing. Para naman pag pinakinggan ng estudyante, ay talaga namang mukhang nakikinig siya sa teacher niya, hindi siya nakikinig sa background. So yun, these are actually, we need to strengthen our online learning platforms. With schools to reopen its doors the following school year, it's vital to plan how schools will be able to pursue their mission of implementing quality education to every student. As a school is a public place where crowd is unavoidable and children are vulnerable, there is a need to strengthen policy in terms of the delivery of instruction. And that is to provide opportunities for online learning platforms. Hindi ko lang alam kung gaano kasigasig ang ating Department of Education, National Office, Central Office sa pag-iisip kung paano may strengthen ang online learning platforms. Kasi alam naman natin na tayo sa division, kami sa district, ay nakadepende lang palagi sa Central Office. Ibinababa lang yan eh. But if there will be somebody from the Central Office who will think about strengthening this online learning, kasi Ma'am Cecil, manggagaling palagi sa taas yan eh. Ang idea ng online learning platforms ay manggagaling palagi sa taas yan, sa Central Office. Ibinababa lang sa atin yan. Ngayon, kailangan somebody from the top, somebody from the Central Office who will really strengthen our online learning platforms. Kailangan talaga natin yun. The Department of Education emphasized that it would not necessarily mean that teachers and learners will go to schools and learn inside the classrooms and devise various modalities to ensure that online learning a choice among all others in this new learning environment. This is according to DepEd last 2020. Kaya lang, parang hindi ko naman naramdaman itong online learning masyado. More of modular talaga. Aminin natin sa hindi. Talagang naging purely modular. And tinan nyo to, may citation ako from DepEd dito last 2020. Various modalities. Kaya lang ngayon, nagiging isa na lang ang modality natin. Module na lang. So, if I am going to evaluate the implementation of 2020-2021 school year, parang hindi masyadong implement yung in-emphasize ng DepEd na may online learning at gagamit ng mga various modalities. Similarly, in the higher education institutions, new normal would be virtual classrooms. The Commission on Higher Education suggested to strengthen online platforms and blended learning such as, but not limited to, Google Classroom, Messenger, Zoom, Edmodo, Facebook, and YouTube. O kayo, nasa grad school kayo, higher ed kayo. Kaya niyo yung ginagawa natin, meron tayong mga blended learning, both synchronous and asynchronous. Kaya nire-record ko yung klase natin para doon sa mga absent na hindi naka-attend dahil mahina internet connection, pwede nilang mapanood ulit. Yun ang purpose natin. So papasok tayo dito sa Zoom. Pasok din tayo dito sa YouTube. Pasok din tayo dito sa Facebook Messenger. Di ba meron tayong Messenger group chat? O yun. Wala lang tayong Google Classroom kasi okay na ako sa Zoom eh. Edmodo, hindi na rin kailangan. Ang Edmodo, pang-college lang yan. Kasi doon kasi may grading system na din ng Edmodo eh. Kayo naman, hindi naman by, ang grade nyo naman is outcome-based, output-based kayo eh. Hindi naman ako nag-grade ng recitation, hindi ako nag-grade ng attendance, no? Basta mahalaga, meron kayong ma-provide na output at the end of the semester. Yun ang importante sa akin. At importante din sa akin na hindi naman tayo regularly mag-meet dahil nga independent learning ang aking ina-advocate, research-based. Every time na magkakaroon tayo ng meeting, I will require you to please attend as much as possible. Kasi bibihira na nga lang, hindi ba attend? Wala, maliligaw kayo doon sa mga requirements natin. In addition, both will adopt numerous learning delivery options such as but not limited to face-to-face. Kaya lang ito hindi pinayagan. Talagang nung una, I remember, if my memory serves me right, Dr. Briones was espousing on limited face-to-face. Tama ba? There was a time na she was she was telling us that there will be regions that whose regions are not affected much by by coronavirus na magkakaroon ng limited face-to-face. But again, it was not realized because it was not approved by President Duterte. No? Now in the higher education, limited face-to-face is being studied, no? Especially in courses like medicine, nursing, radtech, yung mga medical courses. Kasi the reason why they would like to have limited face-to-face, kasi nga naman, di mo naman pwedeng ituro online kung paano mag-inject. Di ba? Alam nga namang kasi pag sinabi mga skills in hospitals, kailangan yan tinuturo ng teacher talaga. Skills demonstration, face-to-face yan eh. Kaya nagpaplano ngayon ang CHED na magkaroon ng limited face-to-face. But before a school can have a limited face-to-face, they need to secure permit from CHED. And when they ask CHED a permit, for a permit, they will be visited. Because CHED will ensure that proper IATF protocol is present in the school. No? What else? Blended learning, distance learning, and homeschooling and other modes of delivery. So napakadami nating methods. However, the implementation would pose such problems on students who have limited internet access, no gadgets, and the poor. Ito na yung sinasabi ko sa inyo kanina. Na napakaganda ng plano ng CHED and DepEd. Pero kahit sa CHED, baka akala nyo yung problem ng public school sa DepEd ay problema lang ng DepEd. Even public schools in higher educations, nagiging problem din nila yan. Yung mga Bulacan State University, mga Bulacan Polytechnic College, yung mga government and local schools, they are also experiencing the delivery of educational services kasi hindi rin nila kaya yung pure distance learning, yung online learning. Why? Kasi nga, hindi naman lahat ng tao, ng estudyante, kahit yan ay nasa higher ed na, ay merong internet connection. Hindi naman lahat ay may magandang gadgets. And syempre, yung ating tinatawag nating poorest of the poor. Iba dyan, yung parents nila ay beneficiary pa ng 4Ps, di ba? Pag sinabing 4Ps, yan ay merong subsidy from the government. Nakaka-receive yata sila ng parang 4,000 or 5,000 a month. Magkano ba yun? Parang ganun yata. So according to the report of Akamai in 2017, the Philippines has the lowest internet connectivity in Asia. Kaya pala mahihirapan talaga tayo na mag-implement ng online learning platforms. Kaya ang Smart and Globe, pineperahan lang tayo niyan. Pabili lang ng pabili ng data pero minsan mahina naman. Ayan, study na yan ha, in 2017. We have the lowest internet connectivity in Asia. Kaya ang daming pinapasok ni Duterte na iba't ibang internet provider. Kaya di ba narinig nyo na yung DITO? DITTO. Di ko alam kung nasaan na yun. Nandiyan na ba yan o nandito pa rin? Pero matagal ko na naririnig yun na another internet provider is DITO. Besides, such challenges would be equity gaps, student security and safety, quality of learning compromised, and poor assessment results. So ito ngayon, ang mga challenges natin. Pag sinabing equity gaps, tinan nyo yung equity gaps na yan ha, hindi naman lahat sa public ay nakakaranas ng online. Sino ba nakakaranas? Yung sinasabi ko nga sa inyo nasa SSES, Special Science Classes. Sila meron sila. Pero yung wala sa Special Science Classes, wala silang online. Student security and safety. Sa Hagonoy lang, nagkaroon na ng isa, 5-year-old, nagkaroon na ng positive. So, yun. Quality of learning is actually compromised now. Kasi nga, dahil yung mga parents na ang sumasagot ngayon, hindi natin sigurado kung natututo talaga yung mga estudyante. Or minsan naman, nagtuturo yung parents pero hindi natin alam kung tama yung tinuturo ng parents. Bawa sa science, Ma'am Cecil, may tinanong na estudyante. Ang tanong niya is ano daw ang kasunod ng Mars? O, pautang. At ano raw ang katabi ng Mercury? Jollibee daw.
Actually, Doc, maraming ganyan sa ALS. These are out-of-school youths and adults, and yet, mahirap yung modular. Ano na to, mga adult learners na namin to. It ranges from 16 to may 65. Meron akong pinakamatanda na naikutan, nasa 68 years old siya. Sabi nga namin, nung time before the pandemic, we are really using na different kinds of distance learning, ang alternative learning system. Kaya ang formal, nung nangyari itong COVID, nanganay sila. Kasi hindi naman talaga ginagawa ito ng formal. Though ang ALS, matagal nang ginagawa, even before the pandemic. Kaya lang, ang naging limitation, Doc, talagang wala talaga kaming internet connection for the poor people, mga OSA and OSY. Kaya we really capitalize yung paggamit ng mga Loom, yung mga videos na nire-record lang namin, and then over the phone. Just imagine we are using the phone na hawak niya yung material, tapos mag-check, minomonitor ko yung teacher. Nag-uusap sila over the phone. Kasi yun lang yung directions kung paano. Tapos mind you, mga OSA, OSY, OSA ito, sinabi mo na ngayon, mamaya iba na naman, uulitin mo. 1,000 beses mong paulit-ulit. Kaya sabi namin, much more na mas mahirap ngayon dahil hindi namin ma-convey, hindi ma-communicate well dahil hindi tama yung communication modality na ginagamit. And at the same time, yung iba meron naman nakabili ng cellphone pero nasa scarcity, nasa ano na sila ngayon kasi more than a year na, Doc, pumasok ngayon na bumaba na, hindi na nila kinayang i-sustain. Kahit kami, based dun sa study namin dito sa region natin sa ALS, marami ang nag-pick up nung early second quarter of the year ng 2020. Pero ngayong pumasok na, Doc, ang first quarter of 2021, yung halos lahat ng learners natin ngayon, bumaba na kasi wala ng pera. Nagsipagtrabaho na ulit sila. So hindi na naging promising ngayon yung ALS kasi nga wala nagugutom na . So feeling namin by this year or a year after this, mas lalaki ang aming takers ng alternative learning system dahil maraming nagsipag-drop. Mas lolobo. So yun yung isa na tinitingnan namin kung paano papasok yung intervention para mabawasan.
That's right. Yun nga yung sinasabi ko kanina, talagang we are facing the biggest problem in solving the educational threats. Actually, it's now a threat to everyone. Kasi imagine, these children are our future, and this is the kind and quality of education that they are receiving. And these children in the future might be managing the different sectors or even the Philippines, tapos ganyan yung kanilang exposure. Kawawa ang Pilipinas in the future. So anyway, kaya nga tinawag tayong doctors of education. Tayo ngayon ang gagamot ng sakit ng education. And the reason why I am sharing this to you is for you to I am stimulating your neurons, your brain cells, so that you can help more or less the Department of Education or the Commission on Higher Education on how we can further improve, we can further strengthen, or we can further modify the previous intervention that was made. Baka naman pwede pa nating i-improve this time. Kasi naka almost 1 year na tayo, no? So it's about time that we review them. Kaya ang napakaganda ng topic natin, actually, subject nyo napakaganda kasi magkakaano siya magkakadugtong problems and issues in education, management controls na connected din doon sa problems and issues. Tapos leading and managing educational system. Nako po, talagang they are interconnected. You cannot dissolve, you cannot detach one subject from another. Talagang they are connected. Kaya expect na after my lecture, I will be giving you an activity. Anyway, mga taga-DepEd naman, sanay naman kayo sa learning continuity plan. But I would like you to, as early as now, to propose a learning continuity plan for 2021-2022 based on the current situation. Kasi all of you, I'd like to believe, all of you are in the field of education. Iba-iba lang yung role. Pero more or less, yung mga sinasabi ko mula kanina ay familiar kayo. Naranasan ninyo, na-encounter na ninyo. Kaya lang, ang pagkakaiba lang ngayon, pinipresent ko siya, research-based ang presentation ko kasi meron ako mga citations at meron ako mga references na sinasabi. Ibig sabihin, documented. Hindi lang based on experience. But at least, our experiences is strong in the sense na our experiences are backed up by research. So pwede na natin sabihin na totoo pala yung mga na-observe natin at naranasan natin kasi na-document na siya. Kasi nga, para masabi mo na totoo yung sinasabi natin, dapat palaging documented through research. Pag yan ay verbal lang, baka hindi pa yan paniwalaan. Pero ito na, documented na. Meron mga citations akong pinipresent sa inyo. And this is research-based. Ang haba sa online platform ko kasi yan talagang kailangan natin eh. So changes on the grading system. Kung dati may attendance kayo, baka ngayon baguhin nyo na. Assessment and evaluation of students' performance became a challenge to...
Ang internet si sir.
Apo.
Na-disconnect siya.
Ako?
Connected.
Kita mo na, kahit nasa bahay pala ako, disconnected pala ako. Pinagmamalaki ko na yung Converge, akala ko maganda na. Pero wala namang 1 minute, seconds lang ako nawala. So going back, this is my last slide before I was disconnected, no? Therefore, changes on the grading system, assessment and evaluation of students' performance became a challenge to every administrator. No? Kasi kailangan niya magbago ng grading system ngayon. Lalo na kung modular naman yan. Ano na lang yan? Outcomes-based na lang yan. No? And nag-usap nga kami ni Ma'am Weng, baka ang written output ay parang mahirap paniwalaan na ngayon kasi nga hindi natin sigurado kung talagang estudyante ang sumasagot niyan. Sabi ko, ma'am, baka pwedeng performance task. Sabi niya, paano nga nila ina-assess ang performance task? Ano pa rin yan? Written pa rin. Kasi akala ko pag sinabing performance task, mag-online kayo, tapos i-evaluate mo yung estudyante as a teacher, naka-online, nakikita mo. PE, long jump, sa naka-video yung estudyante, nag-long jump siya, 1 meter long jump. Ganun. Okay naman, reading, naka-record, parang ganun. So anyways, mahirap naman questionin yun, pero wala tayong magagawa. Ganyan pansamantala muna yung ating grading system and assessment and evaluation of students' performance. In addition, laboratory activities in sciences, take note tayo mga science teachers natin, and other subjects that require performance such as PE and culture and arts were limited to paper and pen tests unless schools will require students to be physically present to be assessed through performance tests, which is palaging negative yan. Hindi natin pwedeng pag-reportin ng mga estudyante sa school. Kaya yun talaga ang challenge natin ngayon. Unlike kung meron kang online platform, hindi lang malilimit sa paper and pen test. You can evaluate the performance of the student using online. O halimbawa, kung yan ay music, o di ipa-record mo sa kanya yung kanyang boss, yung kanyang kanta, then ipadala sa iyo. Performance task 'yon. O pwede namang recital through online, di ba? Recital online na kumakanta siya sa bahay, part ng music niya. Okay naman yung dance, di ba? Nanonood yung teacher ng kanyang actual dance recital or presentation. O yung reading, even yung math, how the students solve the problem, pwedeng i-online yun. No? Kaya lang problema nga natin sa government, sa public schools ay yung online learning nga. Kaya we need to strengthen our online learning platforms. In addition, extracurricular activities in schools such as scouting, proms, mga JS proms, sports intramurals, contests, and foundation day was reduced. Actually, hindi na will be. We're already reduced and discontinued. In terms of teaching, teacher training to online instruction, blended learning, and distance learning should be done. Should be done. Hindi ko nasasabihin na is also recommended. Should be done in order to adjust to the new instructional format. Kaya nga ngayong ako'y bagong PSDS ng Hagonoy East District, dalawa lang muna ang focus ko, strengthening their research capability and yung pangalawa, use of ICT in instruction. Yung online learning distance learning. Kaya doon napapasok yung yung pagpapa-approve ko na magpapagawa ko ng mga recorded video materials, ipapa-validate ko from school level, district level, school level, and regional level. Pag yun ay na-validate or na-evaluate, at least meron ng database ang DepEd ngayon na lahat ng teachers na mangangailangan on lectures on how to learn trigonometry. O at least meron ng video lesson about that. How to improve your communication skills or your grammar, for example. Meron ng video lessons about that. Yun ang yun ang goal ko. Yun ang maliit na pangarap ko ngayon na alam kong malaking challenge. Kasi talagang it will require a lot of processes and talaga namang Anyway, sanay naman tayo doon sa mga mahihirap na trabaho. Kasi yung pag-undergo pa lang ng evaluation at dadan sa maraming levels, mahirap yun. So therefore, hindi siya magagawa in 1 year time. Baka, hindi naman, siguro 1 year time siguro pwede na. Pero hindi yun agad-agad. Kasi may mga evaluation niyang gagawin, no? At may mga different levels. Hence, teacher competencies in both pedagogy and technology should be reinforced. In fact, ayoko nang gamitin ang word na pedagogy. Mas gusto kong gamitin yung cybergogy. No? This is delivery of teaching using technology. And that is what you call cybergogy. Meron pang tinatawag na eutagogy. H-E-U-T-A. Euta. H-E-U-T-A. Goji. Eutagogy, this means to say that you are teaching your students to learn independently. Eutagogy, using technology. Kaya ngayon, ang uso na ngayon ay eutagogy and cybergogy. This transition to the new normal, from the four corners of the classroom to the borders of virtual reality, every learning institution needs to study how successful online learning is in providing quality education and outcomes-based education to students. That is according to Basilaya and Cavadse in 2020. May nakita ba kayong lumang reference? Halos lahat puro bago, di ba? Kasi new normal eh. Ang pangit niyan, new normal, ang reference mo 1990. Dapat talagang puro bago ang ating pinag-uusapan. Another thing na gusto ko rin maging focus sa natin, is strengthening research and development in health. Ano ibig sabihin nito? That our schools need to strengthen research and development in terms of health. One of the functions of every higher education institution is to contribute to the generation of knowledge and its application through research and development endeavors. So sino sinasabi ko ditong part ng higher education institution? Kayo po. Kayo po, tayo po na nasa graduate school. Actually, when you say research in health, research and development in health, yun lang profiling ng ating mga learners in terms of their health is very important. Can already help us in our planning. Example, hindi tayo mag-check up kasi hindi tayo medical doctors. But profiling them in terms of their current diseases, their current symptoms, their current health situation, ipo-profile natin sila. Nang sa ganun, may isasama natin sila sa plano. Na halimbawa, ito palang mga estudyante sa School X ay kailangan puntahan ng mga nurses and medical doctors kasi meron silang mga sintomas na ganito na pwedeng maging risk at mapunta sa COVID, parang ganon. Yun ang tinatawag nating research and development in health. We will be profiling. We will be asking our parents of the current health situation of the students. Kahit yung mga parents, kailangan din natin malaman ng kanilang health situation. O kung ikaw ay school head, yung mga teachers natin. Kasi lalo ngayon, ang daming teachers na may COVID. No? Sa SDO Bulacan lang, sa buong Bulacan lang, meron na mga affected ng COVID na mga teachers. Higher education needs to demonstrate competitiveness, effectiveness, and efficiency by strengthening research activities in the field of health and pandemic. Aligned with the plans of the World Health Organization, every institution should accelerate innovative research and development programs to help contain the spread of the pandemic and facilitate care for those who are affected. Kasi ang maganda rito, kapag nakapag-profile tayo, we can always refer them to our health officers. Ang DepEd naman, meron namang health officers yan eh. Diba? Na pwede nating pag-reportan immediately kung meron tayo makikita sa profile natin ng mga risk, ng mga health risks natin. Kailangan lang natin silang i-document. Another thing, next is to support research priorities that contribute to worldwide research platforms in hopes of learning from the present pandemic response to better prepare for the next unforeseen epidemic. Kasi pag sinabi nating research priorities in the field of health, ang health kasi hindi lang physical health, meron din tinatawag na mental health. Baka hindi natin alam, parents are encountering mental health distress. Kasi bakit? They are the ones teaching their children now. Diba? Kaya nga may mga estudyante ngayon na nagsasabi, mas gusto nila ang teacher nila kasi sa parents nila puro daw kurot tsaka palo ang nakukuha nila. Namimiss na nila ang teacher nila. Yan teacher, bawal mamala, bawal. So baka hindi natin alam yung mga parents, because of the pressure that they need to teach their children, they are facing now mental distress. Hindi lang parents. Baka hindi lang parents and students. Baka pati mga teachers, they are also experiencing mental distress. The anxiety, the anxiety that COVID cases are rising and therefore they may be afflicted anytime. They may be getting the virus anytime. So, meron tinatawag na distress yan. O, pwedeng yung gawing research yun. You may evaluate, you may have a profile of the mental health status of the teachers, of the parents and the students. Oh, wag na mga teachers, baka pati mga school heads, baka pati mga supervisors. Ay nagkakaroon din ng mental health distresses. So lahat naman pwedeng maka-encounter. So maganda maging research 'yun. Para yung ating mga psychologists, kung meron man tayo, yung mga guidance counselors, alam ko meron tayong mga RGCs, they could provide interventions. They could provide counseling, no? Kaya nga nakaraan nagkaroon ng nagkaroon kami ng roll out or nagkaroon ng presentation ng homeroom guidance program implementation. Ang naging tanong ko, since that is a guidance program, ang tanong ko, yung mga teachers ba ay na-train ng RGC sa pag-i-implement ng guidance program? Yan ang naging tanong ko. Kasi bilang PSDS, I was present during the presentation. Kasi in the Philippines, there is a Republic Act that if you want to implement a guidance program, the one who is only qualified to do the guidance program and counseling is an RGC or registered guidance counselor. In the absence of a registered guidance counselor, dapat na-train ito at may guidance ng guidance counselor. Siguro, sabi ko, baka mamaya makadagdag to sa stress ng mga teachers. Imagine mo, teacher sila pero pinapag-guidance counselor. Merong batas na ang nag-guidance counseling lamang ay mga registered guidance counselor. So kaya nagulat sila. When I presented that to them, kasi nakinig ako the whole time So nag-comment ako at the end. Sabi ko, that could add to your distress kasi as a teacher, of course, one of your role is to provide guidance. Pero in the area of education, you are guiding the students in the area in providing education. But there are situations that students and parents need counseling and guidance that you cannot provide. Bawa, mental health. Anong kinalaman ng mga teachers sa mental health as guidance, di ba? Dapat may RGC. Di ba? Kaya yan yan isa sa mga challenges natin sa research. Ang maganda dito, if we have a data on the mental health status of our stakeholders, then saka ka ngayon mag-inset. Ano inset mo? Di magpatok ka sa isang RGC. And ang topic ng RGC is how to combat, how to improve your mental health. If you found out that there is some sort of mental distresses among the stakeholders, I think that is more logical than to immediately implement a program, no? And then ang mag-implement ng program, mga teachers din po. Of course, do not get me wrong, I'm not underestimating the skills of the teachers, but the teachers are supposed to be guiding the students in the area of education. Napakarami na nilang tinuturo. Different subjects, lalo kung LM yan. Napakandaming subjects, di ba? With these global changes, it has affected the overall education institutions. And there is a great need to study on how each sector in the government will evaluate the scenario, plan, adapt, and implement such policies and programs in responding to this crisis. So since kayo naman ay mga future doctors, I'd like you now to plan, to critically evaluate and plan and evaluate the scenario, the current scenario. And gusto ko ang maging output nyo, maging isa sa mga outputs nyo sa subject natin is mag-evaluate kayo ng scenario. After evaluating our scenario, you're going to come up with a plan. Learning continuity plan for, teka lang, ilang taon ba usually ginagawa ang learning continuity plan? 1 year or 3 years? Iba kasi sabi nila 2 years daw ang 1.
Excuse me, sir. Sir, parang 3 years po. Parang
2
to 3, ganun.
2 to 3, oo nga eh.
Opo, sir.
Yun nga narinig ko. Pero,
meron po kasi school improvement plan. Iyon po yung 3 years. Tapos, nung nagkaroon po ng pandemic, doon po kami pinagawa ng basic education school learning continuity plan. Pero pang 1 year lang po yun.
Yun. Okay, very good. Our school improvement plan and even learning continuity plan should be flexible, no? So tama si Sir Oliver na yun ay 3 years. Pero as early as today, you can already evaluate the first year of implementation. Pwede nang evaluate. And actually, upon the approval of the division, pwede namang pwede namang magkaroon ng modification. If you think that there is a need to modify because of certain urgency or exigency, or because you found out that these activities are no longer effective based on research, pwede nyo namang i-modify yon. But I would like you to come up with a fresh learning continuity plan that is based on 2020-2021 implementation of our basic education. No? Yun ang magiging isa sa mga outputs ninyo sa akin. Aside from research. Next, program creation and health integration. Nabagit na natin yan. The creation of new program offerings. Kung nasa higher ed ka, related to health, medicine, and research is also a need in higher education. Kaya yung presidente ni Sir Junel, nag-iisip ng paraan kung paano makapag-open ng nursing program. Kasi nga, nagkakaroon na ng scarcity ngayon ng mga healthcare providers, yung mga medical doctors, yung mga nurses. Kaya lang, ang problem ngayon ng mga higher ed, naka-moratorium ang nursing program. Pero, if the school can explain very well, no? Can very well explain the reason, the rationale behind the opening of the program, such as yung reason na meron ng scarcity ng mga nurses, medical doctors are dying, and hospitals really need medical professionals, then papayagan naman siguro ng CHED yan na mag-open. Sir Junel, nandiyan ka pa ba?
Yes po, Doc. Yes po.
Yun, pwedeng i-explain yun. Gumawa ng position paper ang school nyo, ang Ritual College. Kasi ang balita ko sa president niyo gusto mag-open ng nursing, kaya lang naka-moratorium ang nursing. No? But with the current situation that the Philippines, that the nation requires healthcare providers, you would like to help. The school would like to aid in providing nurses that will help in alleviating the cases of COVID-19. Pwede mo paliwanagin sa kanya. Pakiparating na lang kay Sir Bob. Kamo po.
Noted po.
At kamo ng ating naging discussion ngayon. As the demand increases for doctors, nurses, and medical technologies at present, HEIs should increase and scout students opportunities to study programs related to the pandemic's eradication. Yun na yung sinasabi ko kanina. And in addition, health education should be integrated into courses and subjects in both basic and higher education, strengthen school medical services, hygienic practices, and mental health. Ito na yung sinasabi ko kanina. Kaya nga, ako magiging part ng planning ko sa Hagonoy East District is to review the MELCs, yung most essential learning competencies. Baka pwedeng isama itong mga topic na to. Yung kanilang knowledge about pandemic, baka pwedeng isama yan. Yung kanilang skill about hygienic practices, baka pwedeng ituro na rin yan. Isama na. Mental health, no? Kaya nga pa nagbe-visit ako for SBM validation. Last time I was given the task to become one of the validators of SBM in Bulacan, Bulacan. And one of the things that I checked is yung kanilang school handbook na dapat during the pandemic there should be an addendum about COVID-19. Halimbawa, sa student handbook makikita dapat diyan yung mga precautionary measures, no? On how to avoid pandemic. On how to avoid the virus, such as proper hand washing, yung mga social distancing, yung mga use of face mask and face shield, etc. etc. So dapat makita na rin sa student handbook yun. Kasi today is pandemic, and student handbook or school handbook should provide informations that are updated. Integrating health literacy to education is more needed than in these days when COVID-19 crisis is still evident today. This educational approach would lead everyone to address future health issues such as global pandemic. So dapat yung literacy, dapat nga naging part ng INSET na kung ako masusunod, sana INSET ay may INSET din sa mga parents. No? Parents ng health literacy. Kasi bakit? Saan ngayon kumakalat ang virus? Sa bahay na eh. Mas malaking porsyento sa bahay na kasi sila na yung magkakasama eh. Bibihira na lang yung mga nasa office na nagdadala ng virus sa bahay. Pero mas madalas yan at home. So dapat merong health literacy for the parents on how to avoid the virus at home, no? So in summary, ibig sabihin patapos na tayo, the education sector is one of the highly affected by the COVID-19 pandemic. And in the Philippines, where there are still a growing COVID-19 infections as of now, the new normal situation in the school setting is currently felt. However, there were some posed challenges and issues while recommending several approaches on the new normal. Schools at all levels, therefore, need to address these concerns and carefully evaluate plans and procedures on the implementation of the new normal. And sinasabi ko kanina, collaboration is the most important at these difficult times. We should help from the post-COVID-19 education. Actually, maaga pang sabing post-COVID-19. Kasi hindi pa naman tapos, stepping to the new normal. The challenge herewith is on how to provide and deliver quality education amidst exceptional times like the COVID-19 pandemic, and on what extent are we going to become prepared when another crisis comes in the future. Kasi anxiety, fears, stresses are being felt when we face situations that we are not prepared. Like this one, yung COVID-19 na to, talagang dumating to nang hindi naman tayo naka-prepare. Kaya nung dumating to nung March, lahat ay nagkagulo. At talagang hindi na pag-aralan kung paano i-implement ang educational system kasi nga hindi tayo prepared. But if and only the Department of Education and the Commission on Higher Education have advanced their thinking in the past and advanced their predictions that time will come, online learning will be utilized. Sana hindi natin nararanasan yung ganitong problema. If the Philippines is only learning from the first world countries' implementation of educational system, like the delivery of online learning, sana hindi tayo nahihirapan ngayon mag-implement ng online learning. Kasi sa ibang bansa, pag sinabing online learning, distance learning, that is not a new topic for them. And it's not difficult for them. No? Bakit? Kasi matagal na nilang ini-implement. Kaya nga I am posing a challenge to everyone na it's about time that we innovate the kind of educational system that we have. And it's about time, sayang naman kasi yung pagpunta natin sa iba't ibang bansa at magbe-benchmark tayo, tapos pagbalik natin dito, wala naman tayong natututunan. But if you go abroad, if you go to the US, if you go to Singapore, if you go to other countries, you will find out that the implementation of online learning online platform is not a new topic. Matagal na nilang ginagamit yun. Kaya hindi sila nahihirapan. Hindi problema sa kanila ang delivery of education. Sino nakaka-experience ngayon ng problem sa delivery of education? Yung mga countries like Philippines na hindi nag-a-adapt ng online or distance learning. Na kahit matagal lang sinasabi sa field ng education ang tinatawag na Fourth Industrial Revolution, where technology should be utilized in learning. Pero I do not know what is happening. Ang ating educational system parang hindi nag-a-adapt, no? Parang naririnig lang nila, pero hindi naman ini-implement. Actually, narinig ko pa nga dati. Sorry. Galing na naman ako. Mukhang marami akong ka-share na gumagamit na ng internet. Okay, so yun yung sinasabi ko na if the Philippines, especially those who are involved in the decision making, sino yun? Yung mga nasa top, yung mga nasa national government, yung mga nasa central office. Dapat yan, noon pa yan, dapat noon pa nila isinama sa plano na mag-start na mag-online. Kaya lang, I do not know, I do not want to offend anyone, pero we need to move forward kasi or else continuously mahihirapan tayo sa implementation ng ating ng education. When I say we need to move forward, we need to really use technology at this point in time. Or else, pag sinabi ni Duterte na hanggang 2023 ito, hanggang 2023, ulit-ulit ang stress natin. Pero yun ang aking observation. Whenever I go to other countries, I always observe the kind of educational services that they are providing. And I was so amazed how they implement distance learning. Yung mga tipong kausap ko yung isang prof sa isang restaurant. Pero hawak yung laptop niya. Pero nagkaklase siya. He's communicating with the students. No, galing. Sa atin hindi noon kasi ang traditional thinking natin na pag sinabing classes ay dapat sa classroom lamang eh. At kapag hindi ka nakita sa classroom, sabihin nila hindi ka nag-aaral. Samantalang learning can happen anywhere. Learning does not only happen in the four walls of the classroom. This time, learning can be also online. Learners can learn at home. Kaya lang, sana online. Para nakikita pa rin nila sa screen, katulad ng nangyayari sa atin ngayon, nakikita pa rin ng ating mga students yung kanilang professor, yung kanilang teacher. Kasi tingnan nyo, itong nangyayari sa atin ngayon, online learning to, ang platform ko, Zoom. Kahit alam nyo na yung dinidiscuss ko, pero for sure, meron pa rin kayong konting natututunan. Meron pa rin konting nadadagdag doon sa kaalaman ninyo. Kasi magagaling na kayo, nasa doctorate program na kayo eh. And karamihan sa mga diniscuss ko, alam na alam nyo na to eh. Diba? You are already experiencing this. You have been hearing this in the news. Pero iba pa rin kapag yung teacher ay nagpapaliwanag, mas nai-strengthen ng teacher yung topic eh. Pangalawa, yung teacher nakakapag-post ng mga critical thinking questions na mag-iisip ka. Pero sa module, walang buhay yung papel. Walang buhay yung papel. Therefore, yung estudyante tamad na tamad mag-aral, di ba? Hindi katulad dito, nakikita nyo na magulo yung buhok ng teacher nyo, na yung teacher nyo napapatawa kayo. So meron pa ring wala lang physical contact, pero meron pa ring interaction. interaction is still there. And baka pwede pa kayo magtanong, pwede kayo mag-comment, di ba? Katulad ngayon, tapos na ako kasi nakalagay in summary, ibig sabihin tapos na yung discussion. Now I am giving the platform to you. If you would like to share something about what I've shared to you. We started 10, 11, 21 na. So more than 2 hours na ako nagsasalita. Naging monotonous ako. Hindi, gusto ko kasi mai-present sa inyo to. I'd like to awaken and stimulate your brain cells para pag gumawa kayo ng learning continuity plan, assignment ko sa inyo, ay naka-align doon sa data. Database ito yung pinipresent ko sa inyo kasi research ito. You will notice may mga citations akong inilagay. Ibig sabihin galing sa research yan. Hindi yan galing kung saan-saan lamang. No? Medyo napagod ako doon. Do you have any would you like to share something out of our discussion today? Any comment? Addition? Yes, madam. Yes.
Yes po. Actually, while listening po sa inyong discussion, talaga pong relate po ako doon kasi that is what really happening, especially in public elementary schools. So, nag-take down notes lang po ako, no? So, basahin ko na lang po para mabilis.
Sige po.
Okay, so it is true enough that the whole world is undergoing a lot of changes, battling the effect of the pandemic concerns, and the Philippines is going through turmoil, getting through these rough times. So, yung nabanggit niyo po kanina regarding the distribution of modules. So, talaga naman po na nakakatakot at ng parents ng module. Kaya during the crafting po of our school learning continuity plan with the presence of our LGU, of different representatives po, nung ginawa ko yung LCP namin. So, nag-solicit po ako ng suggestions sa kanila. And then, we decided po talaga na mag-assign kami ng mga parent leader per purok. Kasi iniiwasan din po doon sa barangay na ang daming na maglalabasan para kumuha ng module. So ako po as school head, actually sa tabang po, ginroup ko po aking mga learners according po. Kaya naging madali po pag-assign ng parent. Kaya halimbawa, sa isang purok, meron lang 2 parent leaders na kukuha ng modules at magdi-distribute. So okay naman po until now na ganun ang aming naging practice. And then, yung sa printing of modules po, siguro sadyang mapalad. Kasi kung ano man po yung kakulangan ng modules na provide ng central office. Kaya, ang mga teachers po ay hindi na nahihirapan na magkaroon ng school-based printing. Kasi sinasagot na po yun ng aming SEP. So, sabi nga po, in reality, pero pupils do not take so much time answering an average of 7 to 8 modules. Yun naman po ang challenge. Dahil nga po sa dami talaga ng modules, especially nung first and second quarter, ay ang laking adjust po talaga sa mga estudyante yung pagsagot sa modules. So writing here and there without really understanding what's inside those modules. The children complains about writing and answering too many questions. Kasi kung na-review po natin, yung laman ng module, sa isang module pa lang, napakarami na po talagang activities. And some parents are not present since they also need to make ends meet for their family. So hindi naman po talaga ng parents ay capable or able of teaching their children. Okay? Then, another po na na-discuss din niyo po kanina, ay yung answering po of modules. So let's be real, hindi po ba? No matter how much stories we tell our parents nowadays and tell them not to do answering the modules, only how many percentage will follow. Talaga po, may mga parents po talaga na sila po ang nagsasagot ng module. So parents nowadays are different compared to what we have 10 years ago. And children nowadays are extreme. If children are so preoccupied during their own stuff or activities before answering the modules. Mas inuuna pa po nila yung kung anong gusto nilang gawin bago magsagot ng modules. Yun po ang talagang observation namin. Kung every Friday ang distribution at retrieval po namin ng module, maghahadali po yan ng Friday sa pagsasagot. Kasi given the answer key po, di po ba yung module natin, kaya nga po as module, given na po yung answers. So, ang gagawin po ngayon ng mga bata, ay alas 10 kukunin yung module. Babrowse nila ngayon ng mabilisan, kukopihin yung answer key. So, ganun po talaga. Kadalasan ang nangyayari. Not all, pero karamihan po, ganun ang ginagawa. Okay. And then yung modular distance learning po plus online mentoring. Since hindi naman nga po ganun kabigat sa amin sa Giginto, yung school-based printing, nagkakaroon po ng time ang mga teachers na magkaroon ng mag-conduct ng online mentoring. So, isa rin po siguro sa ginawa ko dito na ma-share ko ay para po malesen yung preparation ng teachers. Kasi kung halimbawa grade 1, lalo na ang grade 3, grade 4, ang dami po nilang subjects, no? Kung sila po lahat ang magpe-prepare ng weekly home learning plan, action, answer sheets, or learning activity sheets, masyado pong magiging mabigat. Kaya, pinlano po namin to, pinag-aralan namin. Kaya ang naging nangyari po sa amin, kada isang teacher, 2 subject lang ang hawak niya. So kung 3 sections po, meron kami sa tabang, yung isang teacher, hawak lang niya AP and math, then siya, hawak na po niya yung 3 sections. Kaya hindi na po magiging ganon kabigat sa kanya ang preparation, ang online mentoring, doon sa bawat subject. Okay? And then, isa po talaga sa priorities ng aming mayor ay makapag-provide ng satellite within Giginto para po makapag-provide ng free internet po sa aming mga estudyante. So good po. And talaga po pinagmamalaki namin sa Giginto kung paano yung suporta na ibinibigay sa amin ng aming mayor sa education sector. And then, konti na lang po ito, no? Pasensya po for taking your time. Sa assessment po, so, assessing pupils' performance nowadays is truly a big challenge. So, good enough that teachers are smart to distinguish the work of the pupils from that work of the parent. Kaya nga lang po, syempre, kahit naman masabi niya na ito, gawa ito ng magulang, ito, gawa ito ng bata, still po, kailangan pa rin niya yun isama sa computation, hindi po ba? Kaya ang ginagawa na lang po ng mga teachers, nagno-note na lang po sila doon. Pagka binalik po nila yung, or pag pinapirma po nila yung mga answer sheets, nagno-note na lang po sila na Mami, sana po next time, hayaan po natin na si ganito ang magsagot po ng kanyang mga activities. Ganun na lang po. And then nakikita naman po, little by little, yung improvement. Na kung dati, puro si Mami ang sumasagot, ngayon po, napapansin po nila. And then, nabanggit din po ni Doc about video lessons. Meron din po kami yan. Okay, so Giginto District created video lessons for kindergarten for the whole duration of each quarter. Quarterly po, nagagawa po lahat ng teachers. May assign na lang po. O ikaw, itong week 1 to 5, school na po, week 6 to 10, ganun po ang naging distribution sa amin. And then, ang ginawa din po ng aming municipality, kung ilan po yung kindergarten pupils namin, pinurchase po nila ng flash drive. Then, sinave po lahat doon yung video lessons at sana po ibibigay nga doon sa mga estudyante. Kaso lang, upon evaluation, kung ilan po yung merong mga smart TV, ilan yung merong mga gadgets na pwede pong saksakan ng mga flash drives na yan, nakita po nila na konti lang. Kaya parang hindi rin po siya magiging ganon ka-successful. So, ang ginagawa na lang po ng mga teachers namin, yun po, yung kagaya po ng sinabi ninyo, ina-upload na lang po sa school FB page or sa GC nila, bawat grade level. And then, nagpa-follow up na lang po ng discussion. Okay? Then yung sa mental health po, so to safeguard pupils, teachers, and parents' health, the school is conducting psychosocial and mental wellness. Alam na alam po natin yan, di po ba? May binibigay po sa atin si DepEd ng mga video para po dito. And then, yung mga teachers po, ay pinopost nila yan sa kanya-kanyang GC. Then, meron din po kami yan sa aming school FB page para din po mapanood ng mga magulang. Okay, then yung online kamustahan, para din po makita po nila yung emotional status ng bawat mag-aaral namin. Okay, so yun lamang po, and yun nga po, kaya ako nakapag-take down notes kasi relate po ako to sa mga sinasabi ni Doc. Okay, thank you po and good morning po.
Thank you, salamat Dr. Martin. Ako, napakaganda na yung summary ng ating discussion. At talaga namang lahat ng diniscuss ko, I'm very excited also because I know that you are also experiencing those issues and problems, no? And mixed emotion ako sa sinabi mo. Unang-una masaya ako dahil well supported kayo ng inyong mayor. Mixed in the sense na naiinggit din ako dahil
sobra po, grabe. Ang bond paper pag dumating sa amin, dami po. Lahat kami merong heavy duty na Xerox machine, provided kami lahat lagi ng alcohol, face mask, yung pinalalagay sa food, but sobrang support po talaga ni Mayor sa amin. Kaya hindi na siguro ganoon yung MOE namin, minsan nagagamit na namin sa improvement. At saka lahat po nga pala, pinalagyan kami ng additional na hand washing facilities.
Yun.
Kaya sobrang nakaka-proud po yung namin.
Sana wall. Sana all. Hindi naman. Of course, bawat municipality kanya-kanya naman kasing kanya-kanyang leadership style ang mga mayor, no? Nagkakataon lang when I say I envy, ako yung naiinggit kasi kita mo pati cell site, no? Plano, alam mo yun, yung plano ko na maging technology based ang education. Yan ang unang-unang kailangan palakasin ng cell site eh. Kasi kahit mag-online platform ka, pag mahina naman may pambayad ka, for example, pero wala ka namang cell site, mahina pa rin ang internet connection. Yun nga sinasabi ko. O di sige, nasa inyo na ang lahat. nasa giginto na ang lahat. Sana pag nag-ikutan ng PSDS, dyan ako malipat. Joke lang. Hindi naman.
Opo, talaga po, sobra nakakatuwa.
Hindi naman. Baka naman sabihin ni Oliver, ayoko sa Hagonoy. Love na love ko Hagonoy ngayon. Marami kaming projects.
Yes po, Doc.
Hindi naman.
Supportive po.
Doc, marami po kayong magagawa sa Hagonoy.
Kailangan ng Hagonoy ng support. And of course,
yes,
hindi ko naman magagawa mag-isa yon. I need the support of the DO, nila Mamostoles, support ni Mayor, at support ng lahat ng stakeholders. Kaya nga collaboration talaga ang pinaka-importante rito, no? Very good yung sharing mo. And gusto ko lang malaman yung mga video lectures na in-improvise niyo, pinadaan niyo ng DO for evaluation.
Siya ng quality assurance.
Naman ng quality assurance, okay.
Yes.
So may database na nun si Ma'am Ray.
Meron po.
Yun. So yun pwede pala nating ma-share sa iba. Kaya lang anong level lang? Ang balita ko kasi parang up to kindergarten lang eh.
Kinder po. Kinder yung ginawaan ng
Yun. Kayo nang nabanggit niya sa akin na meron kinder lang. So sige, kami nang bahala sa iba, yung mga wala. Hagonoy East District na ang gagawa ng mga hindi pa nagagawa kasi may available na naman. Pwede nang gamitin ng kinder yon, yung available materials. Thank you for sharing, Madam. So meron pa ba? Last one, sharing. Yung gusto mag-share before we end our productive discussion. May natutunan ba kayo sa ating sharing? Meron ba kayo kay konti? Kasi hindi naman bago yung share ko, may natutunan naman. Okay. Okay.
Marami po.
Yes.
Meron po, sir. Meron po.
Yes, Dr. Ray. Ray Rudolph. Meron? Very good. Meron pang gusto mag-share?
Hello po. Yes po, sir.
Yes po, sige po. You're welcome. Ano po yun? Meron pa? Isa na lang? O solve na kayo sa senior ni Dr. Martin?
Yes po, very comprehensive po.
Very comprehensive. Nabanggit niya na-summarize niya na lahat ng mga natutunan. So, para na siyang gumawa ng reflection paper. Out of the discussion. So anyway, it's already 11:30 in my clock. 11:36. This is just our first meeting. For our next meeting, of course, gaano nyo katagal magagawa yung learning continuity plan? Mga gaano nyo katagal magagawa?
Doc, magbibigay po ba kayo ng format? Kasi katulad ko, hindi po ako familiar doon.
That's right. Magbibigay ng template ang mga taga-DepEd. Kasi may template naman ng magbibigay.
Magsasya na po, Doc. Hindi po.
Okay lang. Yes, Mr. Nuki, Dr. Nuki.
Yes po. Good morning po ulit, Doc. Yun nga pong tanong ko, clarification for the crafting of the learning continuity plan. So base po namin sa context of the school. Tama po ba?
Yes po.
Okay. School year 2020-2021.
School year, gawin na natin 2021-2022. Kasi tapos na yung 2020-2022.
Opo. Yes, sir. Opo. Nga po.
Pero ang gusto ko sana, based sa analysis ninyo sa nangyari ng past year. Dapat makita ko na doon, malalaman ko kasi na-incorporate nyo na kasi meron ng mga changes yung plan ninyo.
Opo. Bali po, we already have the monitoring, evaluation, and plan of adjustment po, no? Opo, conducted. So, na-adjust na po namin yung implementation namin ng 2020-2021.
Yes.
Then, palilitawin po namin yung mga strategy and innovations po sa LCP. Tama po ba?
Pwede. Pwede yun.
Okay po. Opo.
So, sino pwede mag-volunteer from DepEd na mag-post sa GC natin ng template ng learning para iisa lang ang mukha ng learning content? Iba-iba lang yung content, syempre.
Opo, based sa context. Opo,
based on
sa
your
context po ng
situation. Pero yung may format, may template naman na may format eh. Sino ba pwede mag-post? Si Ma'am Martin, magpo-post ng template para maging common sa lahat. Tapos magkakaiba-iba lang kayo based on your situation, based on the context, no, of your school situation.
Of the school.
Okay?
Okay. Thank you po, sir. Salamat po.
So, meron pa ba? Wala na? So, with that, I'd like to say thank you for your... Yes. Oh, Mr. Nuki.
Yes po, yung Sir Clemente po ito.
Sorry.
Sir, yung submission po, kailan po?
Yung submission, nga pala. O kailan nyo... kayo tatanungin ko. Ayoko magbigay ng deadline. Gusto ko kayo magbigay ng date kung kailan. Kailan nyo magagawa? Bukas na? Bilis naman. Ang galing nyo naman gumawa. Bukas na kagad. Kailan? Let's hear from the expert from the division office. Ma'am Cecil, mga gaano katagal nyo magagawa yung individual LCP?
Sir, depende po sa bulk ng mga teachers na naririto ngayon. Buhay pa po ba? Kaya po ba na within a week or kaya? Ayun po, hindi na po sila. So 2 weeks, ganun po ba?
We will still be checking po kasi total gagawa na po tayo ng LCP. We will still be checking the available data, po yung mga existing na data po namin sa school.
Okay.
Then magkakaroon po kami ng definitive comparative analysis so that we could come up with innovation and strategy na ilalagay dun sa LCP as a whole. Yun po.
Opo, ibig sabihin po, if not possible next week, between March 22 to 27 po, a week after that po ay we're approaching Holy Week. Tama po. Then ang balik na po noon ay
Yes po.
on April na po, April 10.
April 10, submission.
Apo.
Okay
2
po,
weeks.
sir.
Apo. 2
Okay
weeks,
po.
Doc. No, 3 weeks po pala.
Parang 3 weeks kasi kasama yung
Kasama
Holy
po
Week.
Holy Week.
sige. But we'll try to meet next Saturday for you're going to give me an update of
Yes.
your paper, of your proposed paper for implementation. Kasi this is the expected implementation of your approved research paper before. You will be presenting me an update of what's going on na, kung nasang stage na kayo. No? Next Saturday na yon.
Okay.
Alright? Okay. May tanong pa ba? Wala na. Sir Samuel, may tanong ka?
Wala po, Doc.
Sir Algie? Comparing Algie, Sir Algie?
Wala na po, Doc. Malinaw na po lahat.
Sir Glenn?
Wala na po, Doc.
Sir Edwin?
Wala na po, Doc.
Yan. Tinatanong ko lang yung mga naka-offing camera, baka mamaya hindi sila okay, baka mamaya. Okay. Ayaw nagpapakita sa camera.
Dito pa rin po kami.
I know, yan. Chine-check ko lang. All right, so with that, I'd like to say thank you for your kind listening, and I hope you learned something from our sharing for this morning. And I hope to see you again next time. Keep safe from COVID, and God bless you always. Bye-bye, everyone.
Thank you, Doc. Thank you po.
Thank you po.
Thank you po, Doc.
Salamat po, Doc.
Okay.
Thank you.
Bless po.